Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantees for the whole league that we here now. New show with a new move. Discussion and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. It's the Pinwheels and Ivy.
What's going on, everybody? You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I see all those on top of all the social media stuff already, so that's all out. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sorry about being late, but we're not 10 minutes late, so that's a good thing. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, June 30th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawaski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, a.k.a. Not Happy Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I mean, I think like both sides of town, fans for both teams are like already in the dog days of summer, and it's not even July.
Yeah, it's brutal out there right now. The good Reverend K. Fids.
Yeah, I mean, one organization is about to continue their, mid-season fire sale, and another is a team that has fans that are super disappointed that want their owners in the middle of the window to start a fire sale. So this has been an interesting juxtaposition the last couple of days, especially.
Mm-hmm. And new guy Mitch. What's up, Mitch?
I'm having a bad week, and spoiler alert, because of the White Sox.
Yahoo, coming out spicy. New guys coming in with some fire. I like it. So as you can tell from that blazing introduction, we will be talking about the White Sox, our current feelings toward said White Sox. We'll sprinkle in some Cubs talk as well, and I got a really good feeling this show goes off the rails probably kind of quickly. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep it somewhat organized, but yeah, I don't know how this one's going to go, but that's why you're going to stay tuned. If you're watching us live, please don't be shy. Jump in the comment section. But all that being said, let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications, so you'll be the first to notified when Larry Garcia gets DFA'd. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app and turn on those push notifications. He's not going to get DFA'd either. Just spoiler alert. Larry's
two more years on his deal.
The year is
I have an article coming out tonight about that. So you go to Sports Mockery. You can see why he will not get DFA'd this year.
The year is 2042. The White Sox are ready to start a new season. The starting lineup comes out. Everyone that you watched growing up playing baseball's kid is now in Major League Baseball. And the starting second baseman for your Chicago White Sox is Larry Garcia. And starting at third base, Larry Garcia Jr. And we are stuck here forever.
He's like the Udonis Haslam of the White Sox. He's just going to be sitting on the bench in the dugout, cashing checks for years to come.
Forever.
By that time, Andrew Jones III is going to be like the big free agent, and the Sox are going to pass up on him for Larry Garcia.
Ken Griffey IV is going to be like the new upcoming center fielder, ready to just destroy shit. Meanwhile, Brody Zawaski's going to get taken in the third round. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sick of Larry Garcia. I want to start with this though. So this dude, and I apologize, I don't have your ad up. I'm not subtweeting you. I just literally just don't know where it is. Tweeted out, why in the world would anybody be watching this Sox team? And I don't follow this dude. I'm sure he's a good guy or whatever, but a couple people I do follow quote tweeted it, some like funny remarks or whatever, like I'm a glutton for pain, like I hate myself, stuff like that. But for some reason, it kind of hit me differently. And I quote tweeted and I just said, listen, man, I have watched a lot worse White Sox teams than this one, talent-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I do think this is the most frustrating team because of the talent. You see where I'm going? Like, it's not a bad team. It's a frustrating team. And it's frustrating because they should be fucking good, and they're not. And also, I'm 38 years old. I've watched this team every year of my life. Mama didn't raise no quitter. Through thick and thin, I'm going to watch this shit. I don't know. Maybe I am a glutton for pain. Maybe I just, maybe deep down I do hate myself.
You're a
But
masochist.
masochist, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Look at you with that vocabulary. Yeah, I'm a masochist, and I really think, and to
What else
suppose
do you have in that basement, sir?
the bodies are all over the place. No, they're nowhere close to fun bad. We are
No, they're angry bad.
so far away from fun bad. It's not even funny. Like if fun bad was Sunday, we are Saturday morning or Monday morning. Like we are the farthest away from fun bad as possible. But yeah, and I think a lot of it is our own fault. I think some of it is just the emergence of social media, and the hype trains are stronger and more powerful than they've ever been. And going into the season, the White Sox hype train was full gear. Like break the
Mhm.
lever, you're pushing it down so fast. And I mean, there was reason to, just even taking a step back and looking at it, but no one thought they'd be 35 and 38. They're 19 and 17 when they're not on the south side. They're playing like absolute dog poo on the south side. And that's another thing that we're going to get into here in a minute is the fan experience. Because Mitch, you just went to 3 out of the 4 Baltimore games, right?
Yeah, one of them was as a Father's Day present, and that was by far the worst gift I probably could have gotten him. The
I
game
was
that
going to
got-
say, why do you hate your dad, dude?
it was terrible. Yeah.
Hey, Jesus. Sorry, Mr. K. Fuck. Kid hates you, dude. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just start at the beginning here. Okay. So where I'm going to start out at is not even with the team, it's with what is going on with this organization. And if you haven't listened to it yet, and you're listening to this and you're whatever, or listening to this on Thursday or watching us live, don't do it while you're watching us live. Stay here. But listen to our good friend of the show, Josh Nelson's opening monologue for his Monday Sox Machine show. I said it on Monday. I respect Josh wholeheartedly. Like Josh is my guy when it comes to all things White Sox. When something happens, something breaks, something goes on, Josh is the first guy I go to. He's been here forever. He's established. He doesn't let his emotions take control of a lot of things like me and a lot of other assholes out there. You know what I mean? Like Josh is very level-headed, one of the smartest baseball guys I know. He did not pay me to say this, but he did a monologue on Monday, and he was pissed, man. He was just mad. And it was like when you're a kid and like your dad who's never like shows any emotions finally gets pissed off and you're like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh uh-oh. If you even got him mad, you're fucking up. And Josh was mad, dude. Josh was really mad. And of course he did his thing in such a way where it was really eloquent, and he didn't curse, he didn't get all fired up like I do and all this stuff, and it's something I'm envious of how he handles it. But the first thing he went at, man, was the fan experience. And now Mitch, you go to more games than I do. I don't have the time, I don't have the bandwidth right now, so please feel free to chime in if I'm missing the mark at all here. So right off the bat, you have a subpar product. I'm a sales guy, I've been a sales guy my whole life. So right now you're trying to get people to spend money on a product that's not performing to where expectations, no matter if you think they're realistic or what, isn't meeting them. Before you even get out of your car, you're dropping $27 to park now. Okay? $27 to park. And to even get into the stadium, for some reason, the guys at the 108, Luke, all those guys have written articles about this. They have not figured out these goddamn security lines yet. They're backing up into the parking lot. Okay? And as Josh pointed out, and I'm going to quote Josh or credit Josh with a lot of this, if you drop thousands and thousands of dollars on season tickets, how come you don't have your own entrance yet? I mean, Fids, you're out on the West Coast. Don't all those ballparks out there got season ticket holder entrances?
Not really. No, I mean,
I saw one in San
well,
Francisco.
you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the boxes, for example, like at Aviator
They have
Stadium,
that on the south side. Yeah, they have that. But
that's a different entrance. But no, I mean, if you're a season ticket holder, no, it's every person for themselves. I don't even think that there's a season ticket entrance for the Golden Knights. I don't think there's a season
Okay.
ticket entrance for
I just know
Raiders.
Josh cited a couple parks, that do have that. What a great idea, though. Why not reward the people that are loyal to the soil, that are dropping thousands of dollars on your team every year, with something as simple as you can go in this door?
Well, I think part of the problem is, too, they're one of the few ballparks that only open 90 minutes beforehand. Most stadiums open about 2 hours beforehand. So a lot of the times people get there early to tailgate and it just bottles up because they don't let fans in early like most stadiums do.
That's fair. I mean, but to me, that's unacceptable. Those lines, the pictures for those lines, I mean, here we are at the end of June. This is Savo, go off in the chat, man. But oh, here you go. Perfect. Our boy Savo, and I'm saying that right, Fitz? I'm not butchering the guy's name. Svo. Justin. Our boy Justin says he's a Florida boy. Marlins Park, dedicated season ticket holder entrance, $8 parking, lockers outside for people that bring bags instead of just telling them you're fucked, go back and put that in your car or get rid of it. Staging area to meet the players. He met Sandy Alcantara. That's cool. I mean, I get, South Florida, they're struggling a little bit more than the south side of Chicago. It's not the same market, but something simple like that, man. Just get to see the home team take BP. But to Mitch's point, one of the experiences on the south side is the tailgating, the culture, all that stuff. So they're trying to encourage that. But then they pull shit, which we like to refer to as getting Reinsdorfed. And that's when everybody who literally has any form of technology, you can have a fucking flip phone and it's going to goddamn rain, but they still open the gates and then they trap you in the stadium for 3 hours for the delay, and then they start the game. I mean, they're literally robbing you. I mean, you don't have to spend money, but I mean, no one's going to just stand there for 3 hours and stare at a tarp on a field. You know what I mean? It's just like White Sox are notorious for that. Unbelievable. And I mean, it's not cheap to take a family of 4 or a family of 3 for that matter to a baseball game right now. And this leads back to the product on the field. My biggest issue, and this is where we're going to kind of open it up. I just had to get that opening out of the way. But my biggest issue with this team right now, it's not that they're not hitting home runs. It's not that they're losing games at home. To me, to my eye test, to what I see on TV, to what I've seen when I've actually gotten to go to a couple games, all this stuff, they just look fucking dead, man. They look dead. And I'm not saying that they don't care. I'm not questioning their professional attitude. I'm not questioning their dedication to the game of baseball. I'm not questioning any of that stuff. I'm just saying right now, they look dead, dude. Absolutely dead. I mean, are you guys seeing that same vibe? Am I on a limb here? Or
I think you're seeing a little bit. I think you're seeing it, but like you see last night. Last night felt like it was a jamboree at the buffet, man. It's a long grind, and these guys have been in a dead zone for a bit. So you do see that. You see guys going through the motions. I think a lot of times too. I think it starts. It's a weird pattern, but I think it starts with trying too hard, and then once you've run out, once you've burned out that energy, that extra energy that you're throwing out there to make up for it, to try too hard, to overdo things, to overthink things, then you get to a point. It's almost like the stages of grief, right? You have one stage to the next stage. They've gone past trying too hard and making mistakes because you're overdoing things like overrunning a stop sign, trying to do too much, trying to take it too big a lead, getting that extra half step, on a lead, getting picked off, or maybe trying to play through something that maybe you should have just taken the out, or whatever it is, trying to do a little bit too much. Then that kind of transcends into the next stage, which is I'm gassed. I used all that damn energy to make things better. And what did I get? More poop on my shoe. And all of a sudden, the doubt creeps in and you start going, it becomes a job for a little bit. And these guys, I think it feels like a job right now. They're playing work ball, not play ball. And it's a big part of what drives this team. This team is 100% a team that thrives on energy. That's what makes Eloy such a great, locker room guy. That's what makes Tim Anderson. These guys are high octane type players. And you're seeing them right now. They hit that low point where they basically just the tank was empty. Well, and this All-Star break is going to be a nice break for them, I think, for everybody to kind of take a timeout, get a couple days off, and just reset, go again.
And optically too, so they have so many injuries that like 5 of their regular 9 starters have been told by the trainers, don't run hard to first if it's a routine ball, which I get. Like, that's not uncommon for teams, but to have 5 of your 9 doing that, and then if you're the other 4 on the team, like, that effort's contagious. So, like, you see all, like, these guys like Tim Anderson dogging it, you hit into a routine grounder. It's like, well, why the hell am I going to hustle the first? There was a ball hit a couple days ago. Who hit it? I think it was Robert. The guy dove and missed it, and it should have easily been a double. But because of that, he's on first base. And it's little things like that, not taking the extra base running things, that cost you games. So I get it from the medical perspective, but it just looks bad optically too.
Brady almost got punched at second last night on a ball that he hit off the wall. Like, I mean, the guy made a perfect play. It was a perfect bare hand feed, off the wall into the tube. But I mean, it was 6 inches from being banged out at second. I mean, I know they were up already at that point. But that's even something coming out of the box. These guys, and honestly, when you're trying to set a good example, I don't think you have to worry about like Andrew Vaughn, but I do think that it is weird for some of the younger guys to see, because the young guys don't get it yet. Why is this old dude not just busting his ass? I mean, if that dude just busted his ass down on that, random ground ball to short in mid-June, why should I? And I think it does have a little weird effect to those guys. And I think it's really hard, and it falls on the coaching staff to make sure that the dudes that have earned it, earn it, and the dudes that haven't. And there is a differentiation. Abreu should be able to do that. Whereas a guy like Vaughn or Luis Robert have no damn excuse unless they're being told by the trainer to obviously pop back
above average. It's above average.
That's huge. That's huge.
But yeah, this team, without a doubt, last year and even the year before that, at its best is when they were loose in the dugout. Like, and that's, I mean, I don't think that's, some insane manifestation that I just like teams play better when they're having fun. I mean, they tell you that when you're 3 years old playing soccer, like it's just right now you see these guys, they strike out or ground out or whatever. They go to the bench, they sit down and don't talk to nobody. There's just nothing.
That Baltimore series,
that was a kick in the nuts.
That was brutal.
It was a fucking someone wound up with a steel toe boot and just fucking.
I'm going to let Mitch go right now for a bit, because he was at those first 3 games that they lost, including that the Friday bullpen game when they got 1 hit. But just like watching from TV, I mean, comparing both teams, the Orioles, obviously they came in with like a worse record. Like, their pitching has been a little, not after that. Their pitching has been like solid this year. But regardless, the White Sox have more talent. They're the superior talented team on that field. However, if you, I think Lawrence Holmes and Dan Bernstein, they said it perfectly on Thursday or it might have been like on Friday. If if you just had a scout out there and like, he didn't know the expectations for both teams, and if you would have just said, look at how these guys are playing these couple games, obviously a short sample, you would have been like, oh, the Baltimore Orioles are like, they're the World Series contending team, not the White Sox. You have like one team making all these plays in the outfield, running the bases hard, stealing bases, and then you have the White Sox who are lifeless out there. That's just the word. Again, I'm never going to question an individual player's effort or team effort team-wise, because obviously they're good enough. They made it to this level that, sometimes they aren't going to run it out, and it's fine. I don't like it when you guys try too hard. That's how you get hurt. And again, how Mitch brought it up, half your fucking lineup right now is being told, hey, you can ease off, which honestly, you can't blame them either, because they're just, for whatever reason, are more susceptible to these leg injuries and hamstring injuries. So you don't want them going 110% or whatever. But I mean, the word is just lifeless out there. And even the Angels game against Noah Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard has been okay this year. He hasn't been the dominating pitcher that he was his first couple years with the Mets. And they had their chances against him, and they just couldn't come through. And
as
you're not going to have any fun when you're not getting any.
Yeah, you know what's not fun? Coming up to first pitch, it's Ohtani versus Kopech. He's coming out. I think it was his last appearance, right? When he 13, 14 strikeouts. I mean, and what happened to the dinger chain, like the big chain they had when they hit home runs? I mean, the thing would probably have cobwebs right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, they just lost everything that made this team fun. the open jerseys and the chains and the fucking, the whatever hand motion that is that they used to do when they got on base, and the rev the engine shit and all that other stuff.
I think
Like they're just dead, dude. No emotion whatsoever.
Coming into the Angels series, I think the previous week they had more sacrificed bunts than home runs, 2-1.
Fucking fantastic. I mean, it's just
it was that was rock bottom for them. Like they scored 3 runs in 27 innings against the Orioles. And I don't care that the Orioles are better than everyone says and whatnot. They're a rebuilding team on the road, and the White Sox had a pretty good, like pitching wise, they had the advantage in every one of those games. To me, that was like one of the more frustrating games. It was such an indictment on Rick Hahn and Tony La Russa too. Just the way that team was put together. Like Tony, I'm so frustrated with at this point. And look, I get that he gets the brunt of the criticism fans, probably more than he deserves. Like he's going to be the scapegoat. He's taking the majority of the shrapnel. Does he deserve all of it? No. They're hurt. I get it. He has to start 2 corner outfielders, or the guys in the corner outfield that are first basemen. So it's not all his fault. But the evidence is there at this point that he's not a good manager anymore. Like the biggest indictment I saw was Saturday's game. Lance Lynn's pitching. He's coming off an injury. He's one of the most important guys in your rotation. He's been a workhorse. He had the knee thing. He's just coming off of surgery. And the fact they left him in 110 pitches is like malpractice. That's number one. Number 2 is you're paying Joe Kelly all this money, one of your biggest free agent acquisitions. He hasn't pitched in 3 days, and he's sitting in the bullpen in the biggest moment of the game. And Tony's like, oh, well, we're saving him for the 8th inning. Why? And that's why you see Jose Ruiz warming up, and as soon as that happened, it's like, well, this game's over. So like that to me was horrendous. On top of all the other stupid stuff he does, it's evident he's not a good manager anymore. It's terrible. Despite the injuries, like this team should be better than what they are. Like they should be at least 5 games over 500 at this point.
Here's my thing with Tony, and I respect everybody's opinion on it, and I get that some people think he sucks, some people think he's good, and there's other people to blame. I don't deal in absolutes. I try really hard not to deal in absolutes. I think Tony is definitely to blame for some of the shit that's going on. I think it's and I'm not, Mitch, this isn't a shot at you. This is more at Sox fans. I think it's lazy to just say fire Tony and that'll fix everything. I don't think that's the case at all. And I don't think you do either. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I don't think you either. But people get old, man. Like things pass people by. I think Tony is he's a fucking library of baseball knowledge. I think he has experience that's invaluable. I think that it's just, I personally, like a lot of things in this country, think I'd like to see a younger guy give it a shot. Someone that wasn't 80 years old when we landed on the moon, but it's just, I don't agree with some of Tony's antics. I know Tony gets these guys. The biggest thing that's been bothering me with him though is after losses, when he's like, oh, the plan was to go Kelly Graverman. Well, no, man, you got to adjust, dude. Your boy's struggling out there in the 7th, and I get you have a plan, but if you let your guy just sit out there and struggle in the 7th, your plan's shit. Like, you know what I mean? And like, it's just, that's what really drives me crazy when he does that. And I know he's come out and he's just like, I've never ran from criticism, so I'm going to take that was cool. Like the first 3 times you said it. And now it's just like, all right, man, that means nothing. Like that and $3 will get you a ride on the CTA now. Like, it's just, I don't give a shit about that anymore. Just be fucking better, dude. Stop fucking with the lineup. Have something consistent. And I know injuries are playing a part of that, but I just need top to bottom from this organization to just be fucking better.
Oh, totally.
So here's me like trying to talk, what their plan is. These guys go in, and again, a lot of people like to criticize the bullpen usage, but again, this is him sitting down with his entire coaching staff, also probably sitting down with some of the front office individuals when it comes down to it. I'm sure he consults with Hahn a little bit too. They come up with who is available on a daily basis. They can calendar the stuff out based on workload and regiment and high intensity levels as well. These guys know when he comes in, and it's always usually written. If you look at a lineup sheet that's hanging, you usually know who's available that day and who's not. I mean, you write down, hey, first relief, second relief. Generally, guys know today you're targeted to come in somewhere. I mean, Chasen tells me all the time. He's like, yeah, I'm targeted to pitch in the 6th today. As if we have a 3-run leader more in the 6th, I'm coming in for an extended opportunity. He knows daily what his job is, and so they do calendar this stuff out. That said, it doesn't excuse the lineups that have been batshit crazy. And here's me right now. whatever yesterday's lineup was, if he doesn't, and I haven't seen their lineup tonight, but if tonight's lineup doesn't look like almost a carbon copy of last night's lineup, then what are you doing? Because it worked last night. Let it go. Like you play a hot hand. That's, I'm superstitious. When a lineup goes out and scores like they did last night, I'm going to go ahead and, hey.
So tonight,
I dare you to do it again.
Tonight you're going TA, Moncada, Robert, Abreu in the 4, Sheets DH at 5, Polak, Lurhi Garcia, Josh Harrison, Reese McGuire.
So is McGuire's the change of who got yanked, and then did they just shuffle?
Vaughn did.
Vaughn's resting. Vaughn's resting.
Which honestly, not a huge issue with that. He's had rough over his past couple of games, and Ohtani is good. So give him a day off, get him some confidence. Like I have no problem with him getting a day off today.
Yeah, he wore it a little bit last night on social media. I was seeing I know a lot of jokes too. I know that like Beef Loaf was joking about how he sucks on the West Coast, and I was joking how that's my Sox summer curse and stuff, whatever. But I guess he went to the West Coast if you haven't heard. But it's good to take a day. So that makes sense then. Well, then that's not too bad. It's pretty much the same lineup minus Vaughn, and you just pushed everybody down one. Did he learn something? Or is he, this seems like pretty prudent. He's basically, other than Vaughn, who was nothing, he went over. He's got the entire same group from last night out there tonight in the same exact order, minus Vaughn. So, if this lineup hits today, if it doesn't, 50-50.
Yeah. The other frustrating thing, too, and we're talking about top-down organizationally, too, and like Rick Hahn deserves, and I'm a big Rick Hahn fan, but there's a lot of blame to go around. You're in year 3 of a 5 to 6 year window, and your biggest offseason acquisition arguably was Joe Kelly, and I like the Joe Kelly pickup, but if that's your biggest offseason acquisition, that's kind of a problem. He can't pitch on back-to-back days. So, there's a red flag right there.
The only position player they spent money on was Leury Garcia.
And they were bad defensively last year, and what do they do to solve that? They still got Gavin Sheets out in the corner outfield. A corpse to Josh Harrison, who's heating up a little bit, but they pulled him off of the scrap heap. It was a terrible offseason too. So top down, organizationally, this is what it's a domino effect. You play it cheap, this is what happens.
It's just Leury Garcia.
Oh my God! So I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, Leury Garcia was the big
fucking mind. Leury Garcia was the only that was their big money position player this offseason.
Dude, that reminds me of Daniel Descalso free agent signing for the Cubs.
If Leury Garcia is used how he should be, like a bench guy, gets the occasional spot start, that signing is not that bad. If they spend other money on other players. But also the part of the reason he's getting so much hate, Garcia, he's not being used correctly. He has to play every day, partly because of injuries, which is also a lack of depth. So what do they expect? He's being used in 6 different positions, and of course he's not going to be great defensively at either. If you have to practice 6 different positions on a daily basis, you're not going to excel at any of them. But that's what happens when you don't get any depth. And Leury Garcia's in the lineup every day, and this is what you get: a 190 batting average.
We never sold this shirt, but we were the first podcast to bring up that people do forget. Leury Garcia had more hits than Mike Trout in 2019.
This shirt?
Yep.
And this shirt, new shirt.
New shirt, just working on licensing. Yeah. And so that goes down, and then when you're approaching a season and your fucking strategy, and I'm sorry, this is definitely going to get us a mature rating this show because I'm just throwing cuss words out like crazy, but your fucking strategy going into a season is don't get hurt, which I don't give a shit what they say. That's what they were banking on this year. And then here we are at the end of June, and like Mitch said, what is it? 5 out of 9 of your projected starters are all fucking hurt or can't run because they are hurting. You're an asshole.
Not
if
even
you go
that,
into the season like that, you're an asshole.
Add in how your 2 major free agent acquisitions, which were relief pitchers in Kendall Graven and Joe Kelly,
can't go back to back.
Those guys can't pitch more than 3 times in a week, apparently.
You're an asshole.
No, even in their win last week, they had Davis Martin in the 8th inning in a clutch situation, and then he got sent back down 2 days later. And that tells you all you need to know about the depth on this team. And the bullpen was supposed to be a strong suit too. And everyone's hurt; they can't pick back-to-back days. It's
super pen.
And even did Joe Kelly pitch in that blowout on Tuesday?
No, he
I
pitched.
blacked out.
Wound up pitching Sunday.
Last night. He pitched last night.
Oh, he pitched last night. Like,
Yeah.
why was he pitching in like a 7-run game?
I don't know. And
Because he was
Well,
on.
no, you know why?
Because he was on the calendar to pitch that night, and he had to get his.
but
work
see,
in.
that's the thing, Kevin. That's fucked up. You had the situation. You have your high leverage guys. I get it, guys. There are guys that can't pitch back-to-back days, whatever day. Maybe he wasn't feeling right that morning. I get that. But then you get into these situations where, like, shit, a guy hasn't pitched in 5 days. We need to get him in because he's going to be rusty. So what happens tonight if it's Wednesday night? Sox are in a close game. Fuck, we can't use Joe Kelly. He pitched last.
But look, and it's also you're also dealing with a guy that's been hurt though, and so they also have to have some sort of protective medical plan. So perhaps the plan is, hey, you're going to go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, shut down. We've got a plan that's going to actually get you healthy enough to extend you so that you can actually go back to back. You're assuming that this guy's been pitching since May or March. He's not. They need to create the routine with his body by it. Maybe it does look shit right now because it is. They have to play by the chart as opposed to playing by the gut, which is right now what's best for him. What's best for the White Sox is that Joe Kelly is doing what he normally does with exactly what his body is ready for. When it matters, deeper in the season, late. And right now, he's just catching up. I'm sure that this is a medical plan that says, look, we're trying to go, like they're going to become a day where they're like, all right, we're going to go back to back with you, but then we're going to shut you down for 3 days. And so, you're going to people get upset about that too. But the whole point is back to back, come back, sit 3 days, back to back. And then you're getting your body, again, reaccustomed and reacclimated to that kind of usage. It is exhausting. Look at Shreve right now. All I hear from his texts are, God dang it, I'm fucking sore. That's all. The first thing I say, how you doing, buddy? Sore is the first text I get, like, every night, even tonight, even though he had a rough night last night. First thing is not shitty, it's sore. These guys are banged up. So like they do have to train their bodies this way. And you get that luxury during spring training because nobody gives a shit. But right now it's in the middle of the regular season. It's hard for people to just understand why that plan is so vital and integral. You could throw Joe Kelly out there when you need him most, but then Joe Kelly's going to more than likely lose what he's got later in the season because his body is slightly altered from the plan that was going to actually be effective to build his body and his endurance and the routine up for him to be a back-to-back guy, especially in the postseason when you might need a guy to go 2 games, 3 games, maybe even pop into 4 games in a short span. So they're trying to get him ready, but it's hard to do it mid-season. It's hard to explain it. And it's hard for patience, and that's a hard thing to kind of handle.
That's a fair point, and the perfect understand. Even if you don't use Kelly there, the fact Mr. Analytic, I'm walking Trey Turner on a 1-2 count because the analytics say so. He brought in a guy at the biggest situation of the game, the bases loaded, that has a 2.135 whip at home this season. He's allowed 21 hits and 16 walks and just 17 innings of work in Jose Ruiz. You literally brought they could not have picked the worst guy out of the bullpen to put in the most important situation of the game. So even if you don't use Joe Kelly, the fact that you put in Jose Ruiz is managing Mal Pratt. Unless
the numbers show that he's had success against the guys that he was slated to face. Do you know that he was put out there because blankety blank is hitting 112 against him in his career and 34 at bats? There's got to be there is rationale when these guys put these lineups together and they do look at guys that are going to be late game replacements and guys where they're going to be at the order when the lineup turns over based on, projectables. They knew if Ruiz is going to face, if we have an opportunity, we want Ruiz to face 7, 8, 9 tonight, or 6, 7, 8, because his numbers against that little chunk right there are fantastic. They do know what those matchups are. These guys aren't just popping up to the ballpark and just kind of throwing guys together. They know who they want to throw guys. They're looking for those matchups. And if that matchup plays in, it rolls out that way. That's when he goes with the guy that rolls into that because it's the situation dictating, hey, all right, we're starting a clean inning with 6, 7, 8. And look at his numbers against 6, 7, and 8. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Tim Anderson just went down 0-2 against Ohtani, who's pumping 100 on the hill right now. And then he took a ball, and then he just took the 4th pitch. Nice, smooth inside out, contact swing, base hit to right to start the game. Fuck, did the White Sox miss that shit?
They pushed Moncada to 2. Oh.
Well, actually, so if you look at the numbers, Sox kind of better with Danny Mendick.
No. That's just a hard no.
All I know is
that's just the right. If we're talking analytics, look at the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a truther, and I will not support that theory.
So then the other thing that
Tim Anderson is going to go down as like one of the most, just one of the most, best
He's
stories in
consistent.
baseball history.
and he's consistent.
A guy who, again, first 3 like full years in Major League Baseball was a bad hitter, he's going to go down as one of the greatest hitters of his era. Amazing.
Yeah, those first 3 years, though, I mean, he signed on the dotted line for that 7-year deal. He fucking,
That's right.
yeah, but the other thing that just I got into the point where I'm just like overly frustrated with this team. They're interviewing Johnny Cueto after his start on Tuesday, and after he gives up 3 home runs in a row, he comes to the dugout and he looks at the guys. He goes, "Hey, put the ball in the fucking air. It's carrying tonight." And like all these guys are like, "Yeah, that really." But it took Johnny Cueto to tell you that.
New hitting coach.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Which, yeah, Mr. Frank Menachino fucked the home run if you hit 300, and all these guys are batting in the low 200, which is like fine in theory, but they're all batting low 200. So
Right. It's not working, dude.
Yeah.
Like I said with Tony earlier, I just feel like they're like fighting adjustments, and it's insane, dude. Like I don't get it. I don't understand how you plan on surviving in 2022. Like you can't just have like, here's our plan, we're following this plan no matter what. You can't do that shit. You can't do that shit anymore, man. You can have that plan and to be like yeah, we'll go off this. Like this is like our core. We'll play off this, but it doesn't even feel like they're playing off it. I feel like Tony makes the lineups for the weekend, like Sunday afternoon, and then that's it. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's brutally on it, like brutally obvious that some of these guys, like, he's obviously struggling. Why are you batting him too? I'm trying to get him going. That ship has fucking sailed, bro. You are struggling to stay in the middle of this division. There's no more trying to get people going. You can't afford games anymore.
No, you just put them. You need to bury them and hope they get going in the bottom part of the lineup. You're banging your head against the wall. I agree with you, Zohan. At this point in the season, we are now midway through the season in essence, and it's time now. The players play. Egos need to shut the egos down now. If Moncada's hitting like you know what he can do, but if he's not doing it, you obviously still want to have him in the lineup. But he's going to have to accept a drop down wherever it is because you're banging your head against the wall right there, and you're creating gaps in your lineup consistency that just you can't afford to have now at this point. You're past the point of return.
I was very, very happy to see Moncada bang that double off the wall on Tuesday night. I needed that.
Dismissal too.
Yeah,
his swing looks way more fluent than it did when he was trying to play through that injury. And for all the people, he's soft. The dude's got an oblique injury, bro. Try swinging anything with an oblique injury, like anything. As I say, he just struck out. But that was a good at bat though. He saw like 8 pitches.
Shohei Ohtani's a stud. We'll
struck out on
a slack there.
If you got this on this splitter from hell, dude, 88 miles an hour after he just pumped him 98 up top. He threw him a low and away splitter. But anyways, if Moncada can come back and the swings are back and that's good, okay, great. Luis Robert looks like he'd rather be anywhere else on the planet than at the plate lately. And then he comes up on Tuesday night and just hit a fuck your mom home run. Like it was just, holy cow, did he pipe that thing. And hopefully we see a little bit better from him get going. But this is where guys like Lance Lynn and Jose Abreu and Johnny Cueto, and I don't know if he's dead or where is he, but Yasmani Grandal. And like,
I was gonna is he?
I don't know where. I think he's dead.
Back?
I think he's dead. These are the guys that need to like get around these young guys. Tim Anderson, you're not a young player anymore. You have all the pull in this locker room. They need to fucking get in these guys' faces and just be like, listen, motherfuckers, you don't get too many shots at this shit in this game. Like you're on a good. If you play in a 10-year career, you're probably on a good team, maybe 3 years, maybe. And that's just like
Jose Abreu.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so, like, it's shit or get off the pot time, man. Like, I have not given up on this team yet. I think they could still go on a serious run to close out the first. God damn, Ohtani. First half of the season. and then just go on a run in the second half of the season. But I do think, I know we talk about it a lot on this show, and we joke around and we throw like, as soon as I say the one word, I'm going to get Ian Happ from Yumper in the chat and stuff like that. Which
Why would
Ian
you
Happ,
not want the second
Ian
best?
Happ is not a
left
fucking
third?
bad idea at all. But I'm just saying, like, we joke around and like we throw out scenarios and all this shit, but like that's the problem we're facing. This is the conundrum here, is the White Sox need to make a move because they have positions of need, but they literally have nothing to fucking sell. Because anything that they have that they could sell is going to put them in an immediate hole at said position because they have no fucking depth. So it's
If only there were a crop of free agents this offseason that could have filled some of those needs. And we wouldn't have had to trade for anyone. If only.
I think that's the most frustrating part, right? As a Sox fan,
Right.
because here's the thing: like last year, overall, I think besides this past offseason in terms of free agents and just not addressing either second base or right field, and being like, yeah, I guess Gavin Sheets or
just unacceptable.
yeah, Larry Garcia, Josh Harrison.
This could cherish the cost too much.
Like you see the moves that Rick Hahn has done, like trade wise, and like the Cesar Hernandez trade when he did that last year, it was a solid move. It just didn't work out, right?
Nope.
But like at the time, I think the consensus, or at least the majority of Sox fans, were okay with it, right? Like, oh, you're getting like a switch hitting second baseman, good defense, some
Good
pop.
defense.
It's power, yeah.
And it just didn't work out, right? So like it
And that
sucks. So like,
happens a lot.
but you like the process, right? But like,
Yep.
so like, I think those are the level of expectations you have to have again. And sometimes you just have to get lucky. I think we mentioned it a few weeks back. The Atlanta Braves, they just fucking hit like 3 for 3. All those trades that they made for Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, Soler. Sometimes you just have to get lucky. But yeah, no, they obviously have to get a right fielder. I think
need a corner
right now,
outfielder.
Josh Harrison's, fantastic month of June for him. So
Gavin
I think he
Sheets
secured
routes
his
in the
spot.
outfield makes me like want to be violently ill. Like, how are you a MLB player? And it's not even his fault. 'Cause
He's not.
an
No, I was going to
outfielder.
say he's a first baseman by trade.
But the routes he takes, it looks like, and I'm going to go to hell for this, but have you ever watched that YouTube video of that like blind and deaf kid that played football? Like they put him on the field and he just starts running.
I'll let you pull
like
it up,
crazy.
though. Pull it up. Let's
And he
all
just starts
watch.
running around like crazy and shit. Like that's what Gavin Sheets looks like when he's out there. I'm not even making fun of the kid. Kid's got
Pull it
dealt
up.
a bad hand. This high school team like let him practice with them and they put him on the field and it's a YouTube clip and the kid just runs around like crazy and like Gavin Sheets looks like that when he's trying to run a route to a fly ball. And it's just embarrassing, dude. I like get secondhand embarrassment for him when I fucking watch him run routes to fly balls. It's annoying.
You know what you call those guys? Magellan.
I like that. Yes, he is very much lost out there. And it's not his fault, though. It's not his fault. It's not even his fault. I like Gavin Sheets. It's not his fault. He's a first fucking baseman.
Like Goodwood, you're like Robin Williams and Goodwill Hunting. It's not
Honestly,
your fault.
guys-
There you go,
Guys who
Jose.
take the wrong routes like that end up leaving the entire roster on the Oregon Trail. So, there's another one.
But
I
oh,
can't
look
do
at see Jose Abreu just got a base. Jose Abreu just got a base hit. He just looked over the dugout, just a little. All right,
He did that last
well,
night, by the way, after his double. He did the vroom vroom.
And
after the
Jose,
double.
it looks like Jose lost the button on the jersey. Looks
Yeah.
like the chains are popping. Just went opposite field for a base hit. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about, though. We need more of that.
Well, I mean, what has he been doing lately? Let's look at some of these.
Jose's
these
hitting like
logs
351
for-
in the last 34 games. Jose's
In that trade value.
Jose is not a problem. That's the
No,
other thing.
Hey, Abreu's hitting 320 in June, 4 jacks, 15 RBI. You know, and right now, look at this hot streak. He's got since June 25th. This is his hits by game so far: 2, 2, 2, 5, and 1 tonight. That's
Yeah.
a nice little stretch right there. Is the MVP waking up?
Jose Abreu is not the problem, and they're not going to trade Jose Abreu. I don't know why that started one day.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring that up. So and I
They're
think
not
you
trading
mentioned
Jose
at the
Abreu.
start
All
of
right,
the
2-2-2,
show
3-1, 2-2-2, 3-1. Sorry.
the massive overreaction from some Sox fans being like, Sox should be sellers at the trade. I'm like, what?
No.
You are in the middle of your window.
That's not a thing either. They're not going to be sellers. I mean,
There's no point in selling
No.
either. Yeah, it's
they're stuck in like MLB hell right now. Like you can't be sellers, you can't be buyers because you got nothing to sell, and it's just again if they like, let's say just theoretically they traded, I don't know, give me someone like any position right now. Literally, they put themselves in a huge hole. Okay, wild pitch, runners on second and third, 2 outs. Gavin Sheets is up.
No,
Hopefully
it's over.
Oh fuck! I'm on delay, dude.
Mitch just like, nope.
Nope.
If I pop out to the second baseman, I'm calling it.
See, here's the thing.
Here's Zoe to Mitch on that.
He's an asshole. Look at his haircut. Anybody has a haircut like that, you know he's an asshole.
He's an asshole. But
I think whatever if like Rick Hahn's like, fuck, I need to like change. I don't think that's gonna happen until the offseason. In terms of like if you're trading like an Eloy or a Moncada, like those are really your two big trade chips. Like that's not gonna happen.
well, I hope they don't sell Montgomery, who just hit
Absolutely not. No.
37th game in a row of getting on base. But
See,
I'll
that's the
give
other
you
thing.
all the Cubs starters for him.
If I like the Colson Montgomery, I think this would be like similar to like the Cubs did for Quintana in 2017, because if you just look at again, why are Sox fans still remote, like even like any percentage confident that they're going to make the playoffs? The only reason is because the White Sox play in a shitty division.
yeah,
So like if you look beyond that,
I am
if you look
seriously on
beyond
this
that,
much of a delay.
do you have confidence that the White Sox are like, again, the goal is to make it to the playoffs and you'll have a chance. But like, how confident are you? Like, this is like going to be one of the favorites to win the World
I
Series.
still think they can make the playoffs.
No, that's the thing, though. But no,
Yeah.
think beyond that, because if like in 2017 when the Cubs did that trade, it was kind of short sighted, and like the other frustrating part, it was like it seemed that one of the big factors in getting Quintana was because he had that team friendly deal, and it was supposed to open the door for them to spend more, which they kind of did, and then stopped. But so in this case, if you do have like a guy that you can dangle out there for like a big piece, it's Colson Montgomery. But like even if you get that big piece, do you feel confident enough that like this year you can win it all?
I don't think they're one player away.
Yeah, see that.
I think that's your question is, are they one player away? I don't think they're one player away. And Gavin Sheets struck out on a check swing. He looked like he was fucking ugh. But I thought I was on a delay, Mitch, when you're like pop out to second. I'm like, how am I on this much of a delay?
No, I
Holy
just assumed
fuck.
he would pop out. That
Yeah.
just seems to be what he does.
Yes. But I do not think the White Sox player are one player away. And if I'm an opposing GM and the White Sox are starting to just float the idea of like Cespedes or Colas or Sosa, which I want to talk about Sosa in a minute, but I'm listening, dude, because the White Sox track record right now, they're like shallow hell. As soon as the prospect leaves the White Sox, they become a stud. Like it starts at Tatis, and that's the one we don't need to talk about. That
was another one.
Frankie Montas was another one. Fucking Luis Gonzalez just won Rookie of the Month in May for the Giants. Like
Marcus
and
Semien.
they just DFA'd him. Marcus Semien. Like the White Sox, for all their faults about they can't evaluate talent, blah blah. They can evaluate talent. They just suck at handling it. And
Zach Collins. No, wait, no, he still sucks.
Zach Collins.
Yelper made a good point there. No, like it's Tony. I even said it earlier. Tony's been bad, but like a lot of this season does fall on Hahn.
100%.
Tony's been the meat shield for it, which he deserves some of that flack, just not all of the shrapnel he's gotten.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm listening to the prospects. I think right now, prospect wise, I think Montgomery's the only one that I would consider untouchable.
Yeah, he's like this. Yeah, he's just.
I probably wouldn't move Oscar Colas just because he's so raw that he's like Oscar Colas is a perfect example of a guy that they'll move quick, and then he'll come and turn into like a Tatis. You know what I'm saying? Like because you don't know what you have there. But I feel pretty confident as we know what we have in Cespedes. I feel pretty confident as we know what we have in Sosa, and I really, after thinking about it and then burning a year of eligibility for a cup of coffee in the majors with Sosa, I think that was a showcase. I really do. I think
Did he start all 4 games?
He's one of the few bright spots
from
that
2 out of 4.
series. The
Great
one
showcase.
yeah, well, and honestly, like he put together a really good.
What kind of fucking showcase is that? Playing half the games?
Yep.
No, I know. Well,
That wasn't a showcase. That was just bad management. I don't know.
it was
Like,
frustrating
from
that
Rick
he got
Hahn,
sent
from
down.
everyone involved.
It was frustrating that he got sent down too, because like what do the White Sox do? Healthy bodies won and some energy. And he brought that 9th inning, put together a really nice at-bat, drew a walk, and that was his first major league game. Then his first start, the one run they scored, besides that garbage time run Saturday in the 9th inning, was because a heads-up base running play where he hustled on a ball that the Orioles booted, and he stole a run basically from him. So it would have been nice to see him in the lineup a bit more, especially with Harrison after he just got hit with the pitch. I don't know why he felt the need to go
I was going to ask, whose pictures does Adam Hazley have of that he's still on this
Right.
roster? I
I-
saw this tweet. I think it was this
I
morning.
feel like
It was like the only thing Adam Hazley's done is get Danny Mendick a torn ACL. For the
Right.
White Sox.
I think Adam Hazley, the move was made, and I think Han got ripped to shit so much for it on social media that he totally reads with his burners that he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking make you guys see that this kid's good, and he's just like trying to force it down our throat. And it's
There's something going on with their farm system too, because look at the players on the roster that are good. They like outside of Jake Berger and Tim Anderson, they don't develop like anyone. All of their best players are coming from other people's organizations. Like their drafting has not been that good.
yeah, I mean, Luis Robert is not a draft pick. That's a
That doesn't, yeah. And everyone
international signing. Aloy's a trade. Yeah, fuck.
Giolito's a trade. Kopech's
Giolito's a trade.
Not
How
a
does
trade.
Cease is a trade.
Jose Abreu was like 28 when you signed him.
Yeah, Grandal is a trade or a free agent, very established. Lurie Garcia's been here since the organization started, so
Sebi Zavala.
So Seb's actually been solid for him since
Yeah.
coming up. I've been pleasantly surprised. I think it's a sham, but I'll take it. He's
That's
on
the other thing I was going to mention. We're talking about the injuries, and obviously that's a factor into why they've underachieved at this point of the season. But if you look at some of the guys who have filled in, like they've done more than enough
oh boy.
of filling in of the guys that they got hurt or the guys that they replaced because of injuries. Like what Danny Mendick did in the absence of Tim Anderson was
Yeah.
amazing. What Sebi Zavala's done, he's been producing more than Yasmani Grandal has. Jake Berger, look at what Jake Berger did has been doing in place of Yohan Moncada.
Hell, even Johnny Cueto is a minor league deal guy. He has 8 quality starts already, which I don't even know how it's like
He's
last
been
time.
like him and like Cease and Kopech have been like your 3 consistent starters.
Well, folks, White Sox are down 1-0 after a leadoff base hit and then a Mike Trout piss missile into the left center gap.
Mike Trout's still good.
Mike Trout's still good, folks. Still
By the
good.
way, it could be Sox fans and then like even Cubs fans who are sitting through a miserable season. You could be an Angels fan, have 2 of the best players in the world, and have a shitty team like the Angels.
Which
that
is
tweet
wild.
that always goes viral. It's like Mike Trout hit a home run, Ohtani hit a home run, Angels down.
That literally
10-4.
happened last night. That literally happened on Tuesday night.
It's hilarious.
It's just unbelievable. And Trout just smoke. I mean, Kopech doesn't look bad. He's just missing. The ump's bailing him out a little there. But Kopech doesn't look bad. I had a feeling that he was going to step up. West Coast game against Ohtani. A lot of people are going to be tuning into this game just because of the Ohtani factor and all this stuff. And I feel like Kopech's one of those guys that definitely responds to the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like he was going to play good. But I mean, Mike Trout's just Mike Trout, and he just smoked that. And this is what happens with the White Sox. The White Sox are absolute just dog water when it comes to runners and hitting with runners in scoring position. They just had a runner on second and third and no runs. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what bites them in the ass. And I don't think this game's over by any stretch of the word. Angels just pitching in general is shit. I don't know how long they're going to let Ohtani go, but he needs to get out of this. And now he has a runner on second, no outs, a 3-1 count to Ohtani. And I hope this just stays in the state of California.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of little things that bite him in the ass. They were really bad with their bunt defense against the Orioles. I think they got to run off a wild pitch too. Gavin Sheets ran him out of an inning one. They're terrible on the base path. Tim Anderson's getting picked off. The defense is terrible. We just talked about Gavin Sheets. There's a lot of little things they don't do well, which is very discouraging.
We mentioned Sebi Zavala, like he's been doing great filling in, but like his base running and this Angel series almost got thrown out twice at second base.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my thing, and Fids, I know this is where you're going to want to come in, but that's where I do blame Tony and his staff. Base running, standard errors, like on the field, like general just decisions, bunt defense.
Holding runners on.
Holding runners on. Like, I'm talking about little league shit here, man.
Yeah.
And that's when it's the managers and his staff, dude. McEwen's the worst in Major League Baseball in getting guys thrown out at home.
That's a problem. I think we talked about this in the chat too. I mean, you have to almost make a change when something like that keeps happening. You've got to shake something up, because if you're not going to reel him back, I mean, the Cubs back in the day had a guy they used to call Wave Him Home Wendell. I always think about that.
Wendell Kim.
Wendell Kim, like, it was like, it doesn't matter. Ground ball to third baseman. Waving him around, motherfucker. Let's go. Like, it's like, dude, relax. McEwing's doing the same thing. Maybe he needs to see it from a different angle too, because whatever. But what you say is actually, it's tough, man. Base running, base running, I'm gonna focus more on the base running, because it's not just a White Sox thing. It's the game. It's game wide. And this is something that I feel very strongly about, because I can say this as a high school baseball coach. It's not being taught that frequently, especially in the club scene. The club baseball scene teaches you nothing. It's roll the ball out there and you got talent. Go just showcase, hit the ball far, throw the ball hard. That's it. There's no real strategy. It's showcase yourself. There's no baseball strategy. So a lot of these guys are coming up, and it's not the fault of the kids. It's the fault of the system that now is what players think that they have to do to become a great baseball player and get exposure, which is play in basically the wild west of baseball, where baseball fundamentals go right out the window and everybody's only looking at tools and nobody gives a shit if you play the game the right way. Whereas, again, you get a guy like a Vaughn, you guys that actually go through. That's why I love watching the College World Series. The College World Series is perfect. You can see how fantastic the base running is, because those guys, a lot of those guys, you're never gonna see those guys written on a minor league lineup card, let alone a major league lineup card. They've got to get everything they can get out of what they have, because they are not baseball prospects beyond college. And so they run the bases well. They do the little things. They take that extra step. They get proper leads. They do have first step back. They do crash right when they're supposed to. They know when to butt slide compared to when to dive. They know all the little things that you're supposed to know as a ball player, because they're trained that way, because they're trying to get the most out of what they have, as opposed to being an elite athlete, which at the high school level, when you're an elite athlete, you get away with a lot more with a lot of programs than you would if you were just a dude that's just going to be a role player on a team. And it trickles up. And so these guys are getting to the show. Baseball excellence on the base paths is years and years and years of training, conditioning, and working on the fundamentals. Our baseball practices consist of almost daily, minimum once, twice a week, base running, fundamental workouts, practices, or whatever. We work on base.
I don't want to.
Right.
I
have to know what just happened. Zoe's making sounds.
Little league fucking field.
That what we're talking about, huh?
I mean, it couldn't have happened at a better time. So,
yeah. So
runners on first and second, ground ball to Abreu. He does his job, throws it to TA. The runner kind of goes into TA, so he throws the ball in the dirt, gets behind Kopech. Mike Trout comes in to score.
Hey, so Kopech didn't have enough separation as well.
No.
So
yeah,
that falls into it. That's again. See, here's the thing. That's not a problem. Well, that's a kind of a problem, but that's not as big a deal.
It was a bad throw, but Kopech was in a terrible position to receive the throw.
And that's what we talk about here. Is one thing, base running is systemic, because it's something that has to be worked on for almost a decade of playing the game minimum to be a good base runner, because there's so many little intricacies and nuance in there. Where things like this, backing up properly, holding a guy on. This is stuff that you need to be hammering home during spring training on a daily basis. And I know a lot of it times, you got some veteran guys and they let these dudes off the hook, especially I'm sure, with the White Sox, Tony La Russa seems to be pretty more like players guy in that sense too. But these guys are making mistakes like that. Kopech's got to know he's got to position himself. He's got to give himself more depth. Sometimes you have a pitcher that doesn't even back up at all. I mean, Kopech at least got somewhere. I mean, some of these guys, I think I watched the game last week where I can't remember who was pitching. Maybe it was Kopech. Was it Kopech that was standing there picking his nose? That I can't remember who it was, but he was picking his nose, and the ball got away from third, and the runner advanced to second. And now all of a sudden, a base hit scores 2 instead of base hit scores 1, and you got a double play in order to get out of a. Whoa, my God, we've got somebody in the DMs. We're really excited. Thanks for joining us. Naked HD XYZ. We have more cheap sex than Tinder. We appreciate you listening to the show tonight. Zoe is not here for that. Unfortunately, don't worry. There are 3 posts in the chat for this. So, guys, definitely, check them out.
Everyone in the chat, click their link. Tell us how it goes. Is the sex better than Tinder?
God, what is more cheap sex? I mean, what is cheaper sex than Tinder in the first place?
Hey, Naked HD XYZ, hit the DMs. Maybe we can do a partnership here. Sell an ad.
Yep. I mean,
we just gave you a free one right now. So
yeah. You mean cheap? You mean cheap or inexpensive? I'm just trying to make sure inexpensive or
cheap, like dirty, like a little.
Yeah. Is that what we're
how,
talking
like
about?
what are we talking? Make some details. Oh no, but going back to Zoe's point about the little stuff. Going back to Tony La Russa, I think the annoying part is like these things keep coming up. Like every little facet of the game, the defense, the base running, the fielding, it's things that we saw with the White Sox last year, obviously throughout this year. At this point, that's just the Sox are just not a fundamentally sound team. They're a terrible defensive team. And again, yeah, Tony Rizzo gets some of the blame, but like I not like to defend him, but like it falls on the players. I think I've been meaning to bring this up, but one of our loyal listeners, Matty Mitch on Twitter, I think he made this point back in April, talking about how much do managers matter in terms of the day by day stuff for a baseball team and players. And he was making the point, a team can win a World Series with a bad manager. A great manager doesn't really have a chance to win a World Series with a bad team, right? And he brought up what the hell is his name for the Royals? Ned Yost. Ned Yost is, when he was managing, was known to be just a terrible manager. Like, no, everybody just thought he was an idiot. He won a World Series in 2015 after going to the World Series in 2014. Why? He had a really good team. So, yes, Tony La Russa does some, like, annoying-ass shit. The game probably is, flown right past his head. But it's at the end of the day, it's on the players. It's on the players that are put on the field by the general manager. And every other thing, like, oh, Tony didn't put this pitcher in. At the end of the day, players still have to get the job done, and they're not. And the injury stuff is annoying, but that's just part of their identity now. It's like, yeah, the White Sox they expect some injuries. That's just what they are. It's sad, but that's the reality of the 2022 White Sox. Or just this entire era. You go back, the White Sox have been getting injured since 2020.
And that also going back. I feel like we're going in circles of it, but it goes back to Rick Hahn there too. It's like, if you have injuries, this is what's going to happen when your second line of defense is Andrew Vaughn and Gavin Sheets playing the corner outfield, or you got Leary Garcia who has to play 6 different positions playing every day. Like, you're going to have a bad defense. And if you know you have a bad defense and you're injury prone and that's part of your identity, may have helped to address that during the offseason. But I don't know. It's
and that's not even like you're saying it after the fact. Like, everyone's been making the 108 meme of White Sox plan, just stay healthy. Like, this has been a known thing for years. The depth has always been an issue, and when you don't address it, you're gonna have to rely on guys who aren't used to stepping up on an everyday level, and this is what you get. You get Larry Garcia being your leadoff hitter, hitting 190.
And to answer Yum's question, by the way, 100% looking up that porn link right now.
Sorry, I'm back. I needed a little alone time with Naked HD XYZ.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Although I went to the site, I've got an answer to your question. It's definitely cheap sex, not inexpensive sex.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody do that with a flute, but
American Pie too.
One time at band camp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one time at band camp. Forgot about that.
All right, Kopech gets out of the inning, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 1 earned run, 2-0 Angels after 1. Jesus.
He playing tonight? I thought he was batting 8th.
Who?
Wait, oh, what? Nothing.
Naked HD?
Oh, Jesus.
Naked HD XYZ.
So what are you guys getting mad at when I left? Because I want.
No, we're backing up your point, talking about just the
fundamentals.
How the White Sox are just kind of a dumb baseball team.
Yep, and I think it is also, and we didn't touch on this part though, I do think it's a byproduct also of some of these guys jumping a lot of the levels as they're coming up through the system, because here they come again. Back at it. One time 18 plus dates. So only one time, not 2 times. But there is a water symbol. So that's interesting. But you've got these guys that's
not water, Kevin.
Skip the developmental part of some of the in the bushes.
Squirt pee, guys? I need your opinions. Let's go. Let's go around
that?
the room. Is squirt pee?
Oh Jesus! I don't know.
Kevin, what do you think? Is squirt just pee?
Although from the clouds.
I mean, we're talking about the water emoji. You just said it's not water.
Now we're getting definitely getting that MA rating. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, is squirt just Busch Light? What is it?
I think you know damn well what it is.
Yeah, in a perfect world, it would be Busch Light.
So would be down there all night long.
That'd be a solid motivator. My jaw would be all unhinged. But anyways, this show's fun.
I got an answer for you, by the way, Aldo. The present data based on ultrasonic bladder monitoring and biochemical analyses
Okay.
indicate that
Nerd.
squirting is essentially the involuntary emission of urine during sexual activity, although a
That's
marginal
why I was asking.
contribution of prostatic secretions to the emitted fluid often exists. So it's not just pee, it's prostatic secretions. So
Also part P. That's why I was asking the question.
yeah,
That's why you really tune into the show, not to listen to us bitch about the White Sox. For medical
Yeah.
information,
I mean,
like
we're answering the important questions that everyone wants to know.
this.
So, in other words, guys, goggles on, mouth closed. All right.
Don't you
can-
don't you go drowning on us.
Pretend it's Busch Light. All right,
Apparently,
back to our regularly scheduled.
apparently
program.
CHGO and Josh and the 108 guys are all doing watch parties too right now, so this is fucking hilarious. But
we can do a watch party of Naked HD.
it's just not fun bad, guys. I'm not enjoying the ride. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Steve Stone needs to fucking relax, man.
Oh man.
I am going to preference
Come on,
this.
Kevin. No.
No,
I need
Kevin,
to.
I don't care,
Kevin,
dude. It's gotten
Kevin.
past the point where he gets the benefit of the doubt.
If back in 2000, what year was he not with the Cubs anymore? If back in 2012, if Bob Brenly was on Twitter telling you, "Hey, dude, shut up," I mean, I know
Relax.
Steve Stone
If
isn't
he was
telling you
telling,
guys
if
to
he was
shut
telling,
up. If Bob Brenly was telling, if you said anything critical about the team, Kevin, and Bob Brenly at the time Cubs announcer was on Twitter responding to you like, "Hey, calm down or get the hell out," you wouldn't get mad?
probably not actually, but Steve
Oh,
Stone-
come on.
look, people are getting pissed off at Steve Stone because he's telling them, look, if you're not enjoying this shit, take a time out. Like, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Steve Stone telling everybody, if
He's
this
not
isn't
saying it
fun,
like that.
you don't. Well, of course not. He's also having
No,
some fun.
it's his condescending
Yeah,
Steve
he's
Stone
gonna
way
be
of
a
talking.
condescending prick.
He's of course he's going to be a fuck. But hey, how about this? How come everybody else control, but when Steve Stone gives it back, because people they troll Steve Stone constantly. How about he gives it back a little bit of trolling, and now everyone's going to get butthurt about it? Like, fucking
He's
toughen
not
up, Buttercup.
trolling. He's not.
He's allowed to
trolling
come. He's
either.
allowed to troll. Yeah, he's trolling.
He's not
That stuff's
trolling.
so
He
sarcastic.
is
Some of
not
that stuff
trolling.
is.
He's
He's
not
being so.
trolling.
The thing about the puppy dogs and like taking walks and enjoying your meal and talking about it was some 100% sarcastic trolling. He's being
I mean,
like,
I guess it's all about how you interpret it
Shit.
because you see it.
I'm
very
gonna
differently
watch
than I
again.
do.
I'm not upset about the Sox. So everyone's pissed off about the Sox. They're not really. They're reading what they want to read.
Your boy
Assholes.
Morel just hit a fucking home run.
Beautiful.
Everyone's lighting it up right now. I think the Cubs are what 8-0, 7-1.
Um,
Yeah, 76.
my thing
Nico's-
is like, dude, you guys all know me by now. One of my biggest pet peeves is when someone tells someone how to be a fan. I hate that shit. And if Steve was just like, guys, I think they're going to be good. Like, I still think they're going to be good. I still think they're going to be good. Just it'll be all right. It'll be all right. That's one thing. But like this team more than warrants criticism right now.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not like he's the announcer for the Yankees. The Yankees have won like 60 something games, and like if they have a bad loss or like after that no hitter, it's not like it's that situation.
It's
The White Sox
very,
have
very
woefully underperformed.
And fan short for fanatic. They're not going to
Yeah.
be rational. I dropped a couple $100 watching that public humiliation known as the Baltimore series, and then I got to come home and say, "Oh, guys, enjoy the ride." Like, shut the hell up. Like,
and I get that. And I'm like,
That's the comment that you drop and then you fucking duck. Enjoy the ride right now is synonymous with, oh, you chose death. Did you?
I am a big Steve Stone fan. I think he's great at what he does. I think he is probably one of the most knowledgeable fucking guys in the booth across baseball. The
No
man,
doubt.
since I was a child, would be like, "Oh, here's the 2-1 pitch. He's gonna bust him with the slider low and in," and it just boom every time. Like Steve Stone taught me about pitch strategy. He taught me about like how to work counts. He taught me about what pitch selection, all that stuff. I love Steve, man. I love Steve Stone, but he needs to fucking take a Xanax or something. He needs to calm the fuck down, dude. Like,
He's not upset. That's the thing. Everything he's
upsetting
doing
at
is
fans being upset.
calm. He's calm and logical with everything he's posting is like posted like he's not doing it out of anger. Like I can guarantee you the dude's like posting it with his tongue like this, like
but he's always been like that. And Beef Loaf with the great pulled it out of what's his face's book, the old Orioles manager, the little dude that got all pissed off all the time.
Earl Weaver or
Earl Weaver's book. There's
Mhm.
literally a page in Earl Weaver's book where he's like, I had to sit Steve Stone down and tell him he fucking sucks. And he could either listen to me and not suck, or he can keep doing his own thing and keep being shitty. And after Steve had a lot of selective words for me, he finally started listening to me and he stopped sucking. But that's just like, I love Earl Weaver, by the way. Dude's fucking hilarious. But it's just kind of like how Steve is, but I get that he's a public figure on Twitter. He probably gets it from all different angles, like more than Naked HD XYZ. Like he's getting it from
Not
all
after
different
tonight.
angles. But he needs to just, I feel like, I mean, I guess he's at an age where he just doesn't give a fuck. That comes into play too. But I don't know. I know he doesn't care. I know the way he went out with the Cubs, he told them to basically go scratch. He just doesn't give a shit about any of that. But
Like that's the weird part, because back in that happened in 2004 when the Cubs just melted down in the final month of the season and lost the division, and like he was calling out Dusty Baker, the players, the relievers not getting the job done. Like that's what Sox fans are doing right now.
mhm.
Like, and you're telling them to like calm down, take a chill pill. Like that was you, dude.
Yeah,
You were doing that.
they're literally doing what you did. I don't know. I mean, and it's so weird to see how much of a polar opposite he is than Jason Benetti. Like Jason is a man of the people, plays to the people.
Jason Benetti hates Tony.
Jason Benetti, but he also keeps it 100 all the time. You know what I mean? Like Jason will call
Yeah.
shit out. Jason's, does what he does. But like when it comes to fan relations, I don't know. He's just a little bit better with the PR than Stone is. But again, I also think Stone has just reached that age, which I cannot wait till I get to that age where he just doesn't give a fuck. He just lets it fly.
Like,
Do you
I
think-
have to wonder, like, how many mentions or how many times has he been mentioned every game?
Right. Do you think
Like, he
Steve
got to
Stone
the point
cares
where he's
what?
like, guys, stop complaining to me.
Do you think Steve Stone cares what Soxnut 69 420 on Twitter thinks? Like he gives no fucks.
Like,
dude.
he's not going through Naked HD's timeline. He doesn't care.
No. Oh,
Like,
he
we get
actually
that,
might
we
be.
get that.
Remember when someone found that on his Twitter account? Like he liked a bunch of like
Oh yeah.
bondage sites and shit like
Yeah.
that. He was following like all
I
that
think
shit.
there's like this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Stone might be those might be Stone's comments. Those
I mean, did you not see the pictures of him in like the 70s with the
I
chest?
mean, I think Steve
mean-
Stone might subscribe to Naked HD.
yeah.
Steve Stone's gone to a swingers club, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. He's definitely
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
Steve.
He gives swinger club vibes, like where he put on like greased up the oil on the chest,
yes.
right? Popped it out a little
Steve-
bit, rolled in a butterfly collar.
Yeah,
tucked it in
Steve
probably.
definitely. Steve has been involved in like a couple things where he's woken up. And
By the
there's,
way,
like,
you know
30
who's the
people in a
happiest?
hotel room.
The happiest about the Steve Stone situation? Rick Hahn.
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
who are people
peop-
doing it right now? Steve
Right.
Stone, not Rick
Which
Hahn.
that might be Steve's plan. Steve might just be like, "Listen, I'll
Team
just take the
player.
seat because
He's
I
just
just
running
don't give
cover.
a-
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, because I just don't give a fuck. So I'll be the asshole on Twitter. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe who knows?
While Rick Hahn is like on his burners, being like, guys, Rick Hahn's doing a great job.
no,
We
Hans,
had a seat at the table.
Hans Burners is saying like, "Man, Steve Stone sucks. We should all hate him.
Yeah.
Definitely not Rick Hahn."
Get him.
Yeah, go get him, guys.
Go
Go get
him.
him. Go get him, Katy Perry's booty hole. Go after him. Go get him. I mean, yeah. And literally, as we said that, they just showed two fans in Angel Stadium wearing the Steve Stone fan club shirts.
There you go.
This is just our timing is impeccable tonight. It really is. We're nailing it. Oh man, this team fucking kills me. And it's so frustrating because it's so many things that seem like easy fixes. And I know they're not easy fixes because it's a Major League Baseball team. But why is it so hard for them to find a fucking second baseman? Why is it so hard for them to find an outfielder that's not a first baseman? Why is this so fucking hard? Like, why? And I know they're hurt. I know there's injuries. But they still are playing Gavin Sheets in right field.
Like,
Not
that's the thing. You
tonight,
think
but-
about it. Even if they were healthy, like, you would still have a subpar defensive outfielder out there. Like, you'd still have Eloy in left, and then AJ Pollock. You move AJ
Oh,
Pollock
okay.
from left to right.
Actually, good point there, although, because that's another thing I want to talk about. So Aloy's played a couple games now in Charlotte. Actually hit a home run right before we went live.
About time, because all he had till that point was all base hits.
Or a didn't he hit one
Or
double off
4-3.
the wall?
no
anyways.
single. He didn't.
Which
He
is
went
fine.
off the wall, but he couldn't run, so he's like, yeah.
But
He's going to be 6 of 9 players who are going to
in-
be on that injury plan.
All of Eloy's starts down in Charlotte, though, he has yet to play the field. He's DH every time. Is Eloy ever playing the field again?
He should.
I told you guys since last year he shouldn't.
No.
And,
I
it's
think-
and again, it's not even that he's like horrible. I think he's average, but
No, he's not.
he does dumb shit that gets him hurt.
Yeah, he's just not athletic. He's a strong guy with good hand-eye coordination. He's just clumsy.
I think that's fair. I mean, I don't think that's like a hot take or anything.
No,
like that, but I think when he comes, the way they're going to get the most out of Eloy and the way that he's going to have the most bountiful career possible is if he's just a career DH.
Yeah.
He's just a career DH. I know, what was it, 2 years ago when they started floating that idea? He's like, I want to play the field. It fucks with my hitting if I don't play the field, like blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is, again, Jose Abreu. Somebody needs to sit down and be like, listen, dude, you want to help this team? Just hit bombs.
You getting injured all the time is hurting our team.
Yeah, you making us like bat Danny Mendick fourth, or like, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is not helping. You need to go and just hit bombs. Your only job for the next, Eloy could be in the league for probably 8-10 more years if he just DH'd. Eloy, all you have to do for the next 10 years of your life is just try to hit the ball as far as you fucking can every 4 times a game. You can play around in the dugout. You can make little cup binoculars and do gum bubbles and all that other shit, whatever the fuck you want to do. But you just have to go and hit bombs. Stop worrying about the field.
You briefly brought him up earlier, but so like I think the 10 days already passed, and I haven't heard it or seen anything either. Like, is Yasmani Grandal rehabbing? What's he up to?
I have not heard one update about it. It was back spasms, and then it was like, oh, I got that under control. I'm just gonna chill though and like heal up a little bit. And then it just was, you never heard from him again. He's like Poochie from The Simpsons. He died on his way back to his home planet.
And I think he was
He's
saying
just
too,
gone.
like he was still feeling stuff from his knee surgery.
Yeah, right. Even before he got hurt, he was saying, "I'm not hitting well because I'm feeling the after effects from the knees." And so
It's the fact that we're not getting updates. We haven't even gotten like the standard Han lawyer talk about it. Where he comes out and just like runs around in circles for 5 minutes, and then we haven't even gotten that yet. So I honestly have no idea. I mean, Reese McGuire and Sebi have been fine, but we're supposed to have an all-star catcher. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. Someone put it up, and it's crazy sometimes when you think about it. When you actually see shit like laid out, like I sent you guys that graphic with all the pitchers the Pirates have traded away in the last decade.
Yeah.
Like, but someone put up the White Sox opening day projected starting lineup, like if no one was hurt, and it was like hurt, hurting, hurting, hurt, hurting, 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 hurt, hurting. And it's just, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, talk about a snake bitten team.
But see, that's the thing is when you were out for a little bit, a little while ago, when we were talking about like the fundamentals of the team, and like the other part is like the White Sox right now, injuries is just part of who they are.
Yeah.
Like you have players who, we hate to label the guys, but they're just, at this point, they're injury prone.
And everyone deals with injuries. Have you seen the injuries the Twins have had this year? And now maybe they're not as significant as us, but they've had a lot of injuries too, and they're still in first place. So you can only use the injury excuse for so long when you're underperforming as badly as they are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's upsetting, man. That's where I guess we come full circle to. This is probably one of the most frustrating teams I've watched in my life. Because,
and I mean, this stretch coming up to the All-Star break, I mean, you got I think it's 2 series against the Twins, one against Cleveland.
Let me look it up. I think, don't they go to San Francisco real quick?
San Francisco, then Minnesota at home.
And that's like against the Twins, those games, if you split, like a split is terrible. You don't make up any ground.
Nope.
So like you need to like win series, which again the White Sox just can't do right now. They haven't had a consistent Like, have they won 2 series in a row?
No, it's always
June?
just when you think they're turning the corner, one step
Yep.
forward and then 3 steps back. And that's why even like last night, like 2 weeks ago, I've been like, oh, this is the spark they need to turn it around. Like, I ain't falling for that anymore.
No, it's fool's gold. Fool's gold. Absolutely. 7-4 final tonight. Don't stop now, boys. Let's go, Ross Mullen. I like it.
I like it.
I would, if they can win 2 in a row, I would just be ecstatic. Because, I mean, they had that good series against the Tampa Bay. They won that series. They lost the series to the Dodgers. They lost the series to the Rangers. They swept the Tigers. They lost the series to the Astros. They won the series in Toronto. Then they lost the series to Baltimore, and now they're 1-1 with the Angels going into tonight.
Yeah. I mean, again, obviously it sounds like I'm being just completely negative, but just playing devil's advocate here. So, like, let's say you get
Hold on.
Oh.
I was not aware of this. They just put the stat on it during the broadcast. The White Sox are 35 for 37 in stolen bases this season.
Yeah, Tim Anderson, like Luis Robert.
Well, I said this last. Like, they got guys that can steal bases. They got to run more. I think,
Yeah.
especially when they're not hitting. Put pressure on the defense. Get guys in scoring position. Like, there's no reason Tim Anderson shouldn't have 30 bases a year.
The rest of the schedule looks like this. After tonight in LA, they go to San Francisco for 3 games, Minnesota at home for 3, Detroit at home for 4, in Cleveland for 4, and then they finish the first half of the season in Minnesota for 4.
Yeah.
They can be in first place in the AL Central by the All-Star break.
But on the other side,
They could be in dead last.
not even like dead, because like again, like they own the Tigers are bad. Shouldn't have.
We said that
issues
about
with them.
Baltimore though too. So I ain't putting any wins in the win column until I see it.
But so like let's say you get to the All-Star break, you get past those series against Minnesota and Cleveland, and you're still in third place, and all of a sudden you're 9 games back. Like, well, what are you even thinking at that point? Like,
It's 2016 again.
because like
That was
the thing is, the whole the thought of like, oh, they could be sellers. Like, that's the other thing. Who are you going to sell? There's only one name. Like, there's only one guy that's going to be a free agent after this year. That's like a huge guy, and that's only Abreu. And there's no way that you want to ruin that relationship, right? Because like he loves Chicago, he loves being with the White Sox. He's not going to want to get traded.
Nope. I know we all said this about like Michael Jordan. I cannot picture Jose Abreu in a different uniform. I just can't.
Yeah.
Which they won't, but like it would also send the wrong message to free agents that you got a guy that's put in all this time, he's been productive, he wants to stay, and then
Taking pay cuts.
That's
The pay guy.
He's taking pay cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
like he's done literally everything that you could ask from a player. And if you traded him, it'd be a bad look.
So I guess that's the positive, or I mean, the worst case scenario for the White Sox is that no matter what, you're still going to give this. Rick Hahn is still going to give this. He has to. He's stuck. Where no matter what, you're going to be in a position where these are the guys, and they just eventually better fucking get going.
Yeah.
Because like you can't really trade it anymore.
Yeah.
But man, but that's the thing. We're like, man, they have not played good against Minnesota. They haven't played good against Cleveland.
Wow.
It could get really ugly, guys.
Speaking of Cleveland was down 6-3 going into the bottom of the 10th. They just won in a walk-off.
Yeah. And like Cleveland too. Like they're they've been
Crazy.
overachieving. They got swept by Boston this past weekend.
Yeah. Well, Boston's turning around a little bit too, though.
Boston
Boston's been
coming
a
into
little hot,
Wrigley
yeah.
this weekend.
Boston's
But-
been riding on the heater a little bit too, but it's just I need them to make some kind of move. If they sit on their hands this year and don't do anything at all,
Rafael Ortega.
Ian Happ.
and I'm more than fine with Ian Happ. I'm more than fine with Ian Happ.
How about that story we read? I shared with you guys today, where the 3 biggest mistakes the White Sox the 3 biggest mistakes they were glad the White Sox didn't make. And it was Javi Baez, Simeon, and then Robbie
I don't
Ray.
agree with that shit, man.
Yeah, that was a no
I
offense
don't-
to whoever wrote it, but that was brutal.
I just don't agree with that shit because
Javi
like,
Baez, you could make that. Well, one, I think Semien will be better in this lineup, and it's a hitter-friendly park. Javi Baez would at least help with the defensive aspect, and he'd fit right in with the lack of offense of this team. So, like,
no,
like that's
man.
like the Javier Baez thing. I don't even think he was ever an option for the White Sox. So like that was just
no,
like
he wasn't.
that would be like me saying like, oh, the Cubs.
And Robbie Ray, like the starting rotation,
Any free agent that was asking for more than $1 million, Aldo, is yes. Finish your sentence. Any free agent asking for $1 million or more.
They sent Seiya Suzuki. But yeah, no, it's like if Robbie Ray was, that's the thing. If the White Sox, if they would have just been cutthroat from the very beginning, be like, Dallas Keuchel, you fucking suck. You're off the roster, going back to like out of spring training. And if they would have had a guy like Robbie Ray, who they supposedly wasn't that the Bob Nightingale tweet that they were looking for guys like Robbie Ray and Semien, and they ended up with Vince Velasquez and Josh Harrison. If Robbie Ray is in your rotation, they're in first place. Just think of like the domino effect that it created.
I don't know about that though.
No, because think about it, Mitch.
The
Think of
starter
all the starts that Dallas Keuchel had in the beginning of the year, and then think
Ugh.
about how he would only go like 1 or 2, 3 innings, and then it would burn the bullpen, and then that goes into the next game,
There is a
and
domino
then it
effect
affects it
there.
the next game.
Yeah,
that is
there-
true. Yeah.
There is a domino effect there, but you throw
Like
Marcus
maybe
Semien-
not first place, but they would be like above 500. They wouldn't be.
Jesus Christ, Ohtani, he's making these kids look like they're little leaguers.
And even the Semien thing, like, yeah, the Rangers overpaid, but like that's what happens in free agency. You overpay for everybody, guys. Like, come on, we've been
you-
over
yeah.
this many
Does
times.
this. The
You
Cubs
have to
did in
overpay.
2015. You gotta like Hayward didn't pay up, but you add your Hayward, you add your Lester. It's like every championship team when you're done with the rebuild, you add the finishing touches. Like the Astros, textbook example. They bring in a Justin Verlander, who they spent a ton of. So like it's just what you got to do. You're gonna have to overpay for some guys. It's the price you have to pay to win a championship. You need
Like
the finishing touches
That's
for
the
it.
one thing I don't get from fans. It's like, oh man, this guy is overpaid. He got too much money. It's like, all right, then don't complain when your GM nickel and dimes, and then you have like mediocre guys starting the majority of your games because they're being financially responsible.
But
Like, you can't have it both ways.
To Fizz's original point though about those type of articles, like guys are just better fits on different teams. It just doesn't work sometimes with different teams. But
Mhm.
to say like, oh, look at what Marcus Semion's doing in Texas, we dodged that bullet. I don't agree with that at all though. Like not even in the least bit, because Marcus Semien could have came back to the White Sox, been way more protected in a hitter-friendly park, as Mitch pointed out, and blew the doors off this fucking season. Like it's just it's all circumstances, clubhouse fits. There's a lot of things that go into that. And so to say something like that, I just don't think is really well thought out. And again, I get the hustle, man. Believe me, I've been doing this for over a decade. You know, sometimes it's tough to create content and you just kind of have to go with something. I get all that, but like on the same level, I'm not going to agree with everything that's out there. And I don't agree with that angle when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's why I still, to this day, will sit here and say the White Sox should go after Adam Frazier. I still think it'd be a good fit in this team.
You just gave the same argument that I've been giving all year since the season started, and even deeper, since they've, not come out of the gate super hot. That what Cub fans used to tell themselves that the Cubs made the right moves and won the trade deadline last year. While the Cubs were like in second to last place. It's, Javi's not playing well in Detroit. Rizzo's not doing great, which, by the way, Javi and Rizzo are now on fire, and Rizzo's possibly going to Rizzo's on pace to do something that nobody's done.
Rizzo will be an all-star.
Going to hit 30 homers, 30 some odd homers this year. He's going to be an all-star. You got Javi now is starting to do what Javi does, which is heating up again. KB's finally getting healthy again. You're talking about guys that have, it takes, you cannot say what a player will do when inserted into any environment. A guy could go in there and thrive because it pulls out the best of who they are.
Kyle Korver, perfect example.
Yes. Or it could play to all of the things that are their ghosts and demons in their closet. And it makes them the worst them. So again, I mean, look, you can't project what it would be like to be on a winning team that's in a pennant race compared to a dead to the neck up, last place team. It's a massive difference. You
Huge
see how
difference.
guys perform when they are on bad teams versus good teams. Bad teams get the back end of a rotation most of the time because, well, they're bad teams. So better opportunity to face worse pitching and have success, or worse parts of, and obviously I think at pitching it's a little bit different, but offensively, I think that's that's fool's gold to think that a player would be the same when they were. I think it would be foolish to think that Javi would be as bad. I hate that, you guys know I'm critical of Javi. You know I am always.
No. Get the fuck out of here. You?
Javi would not be this bad if he was still with the Cubs. Javi would be doing what Javi constantly does with the Cubs. I don't think that it would have changed. You change someone. This is his third team in less than a year. It's this KB's third team in less than a year. It's Rizzo's only second team. Look who's having the most consistent production right now. The guy that returned to the team that he was with last year, he's comfortable. He already knows the routine. The other two guys are building up routine. Simeon's just building up his routine, and now he figured it out in Texas. Now he's going to be what he is, which is dangerous. He's been lighting it up in June. And so these are things that people always. You just made that argument though that I've been dealing with. I feel like a broken record on Twitter because everyone wants to say the Cubs won the trade. There's no winning trades until 5 years later. You'll never.
To that exact point though, as we approach this trade deadline, which I think is one of the most vital trade deadlines the White Sox have faced in recent years, they need to start looking for those guys that are square pegs and round holes, guys that just don't fit with the current places they're at. And that is why I keep bringing up Adam fucking Frazier. I feel like Adam Frazier would be a fucking cheap deal right now, which the Mariners, who knows what the fuck they're doing. They just traded for Carlos Santana, which I was
Well, no, that's
what?
the thing. The Mariners.
I was like, what you guys are
But
going for
the
it?
Mariners
Like,
are
what
in
are
a
you
similar
doing?
spot as the White Sox.
Yeah, that's true. But
Like the Mariners, I think they have almost the same record as
Adam
the Mariners are going to be trying to buy good players.
Adam Frazier's numbers are worse than Larry Garcia's.
Oof.
I mean, I don't have him in front of me, but I know he's one of the worst on base percentages in the league. I know he's top 10 in the or top bottom 10 in the league.
Bottom
There
10.
you go. Fuck, learn how to talk, kid. But I really think that he's the type of guy that they can get for cheap, and put him in
I mean,
there and-
talking about the trades and like this again. This just
What's up,
goes
Jack?
back to the roster construction and the lack of plan and outlook on the season from Rick Hahn. And it goes back to that article and not to pile on, but like the premise of that was like, oh, they dodged these bullets, but like
no.
Rick Hahn didn't do anything. He didn't sign anybody else to counter that. It's not like it's like, oh well, hey, the Rick Hahn did a good job. He didn't like he dodged this bullet, but hey, look, he signed this guy. Like his most productive player is Josh Harrison, who's only been good for the past 3 weeks.
Josh Harrison should never be the best player on this team. Let's put that's another thing that just drives me insane. Like Fizz, that's why I like legit get like upset when you're like, oh, look at how hot Josh Harrison is in June. It makes me mad because why the fuck is Josh Harrison the best player on the White Sox right now? Like that's annoying. That's just, and you're not being annoying, Fizz. It's just the fact that he's the best player on the team right now is why is this happening? Charlie Blackmon, sure. I'm talking about when you're bored as shit and you go to Walmart and you just play DVD roulette in the $2 bin and you put your hand in there and just till someone says stop and you pull out the movie you're going to watch that night and all of a sudden you find a banger that you haven't watched in 2 decades and it works. Like that's what the White Sox need to do. They just need to actually do their fucking jobs and find someone that's a good fit for this team that is going to be on the low when it comes to cost, like an Adam Frazier, and fucking just improve the team. I mean, obviously that's everyone's goal at the trade deadline, but I mean, start looking at the teams that are disappointing, like the Mariners. I mean, the Pirates suck balls. Go get Brian Reynolds. He'd be way too expensive, but I mean, this is where I'm looking right now at the trade deadline. Yes, I'd want one of these sexy names that are out there, but it's just not happening. The White Sox got nothing to sell, dude. Nothing.
And like I was thinking right now, the other tough part, like because again, like Adam Frazier with the Mariners have been underachieving. The Mariners are in the exact same position as the White Sox right now.
Yes.
Where they've been an underachieving team. They've gotten a little hot lately. So like they're like within or not even, but like they're gonna be trying to get into that wild card race, right?
Yeah.
The White Sox are within reach of the AL Central. All these teams with that added
Frazier's numbers
wildcard
aren't
team,
that
with
bad.
that third wildcard team, like they're probably going to be less inclined to sell. Maybe, I don't know. So it's going to be like the
Adam
pool kind of
Frazier-
shrinks.
Yeah,
Because like
Adam
yeah, maybe
Frazier's
last
batting
year the Mariners are on.
221. He's batting 221 with an OBP of 293, slugging 293, OPS of 587.
Perfect.
He's got 2 home runs, which, yeah, I mean,
I gotta tell you though,
The
if
slide
that
up
trade gets done, Sox fans will be pissed.
but look at his 2021 year. That's what I'm going up. I mean, just last year before he got traded to San Diego, he was batting 324, 388, 448 with an OPS of 836. Like,
How's
he
he doing?
has the
before that,
potential
though? Was
there.
it a 1-year wonder?
230, 278. No, he's 216. He finished the year with a 301 batting average. 2017, 276. 2018,
Okay.
277.
If we're gonna do something like that,
2019,
I would almost go with like a Joey
me,
Gallo
man.
because the Yankees don't want him. At least he's got some power, which is what we need.
I've wanted Mitch, I know you're new here. I've wanted Joey Gallo on this team for 3 years.
By the way, the White Sox are going
I've
to sign
wanted
Joey
Joey
Gallo
Gallo.
this offseason, right?
I've wanted Joey Gallo for 3 years on this team.
You might as
That
well
would be
get
a good
Scott White.
bargain bid by because like at this point, I think the Yankees are gonna give up on him.
Gold Glove
That would be worth
outfielder,
it.
fucking left-handed power bat, and he's a 2-out. He's not even 3-out. He's 2 outcome player. He either strikes
It's not
out
a
or
good
hits
fit.
fucking tank.
I've seen Joey play since he was 14. It's Yankee Stadium. It's that pressure. It's just not for everybody.
And
You know, I don't want to.
exactly what I'm talking about, dude.
I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna say it. He comes from a program that we all know here in Vegas that if you push, they will fold.
What's
So
the
he
name of
does
that
come
program?
Bishop Gorman High School, and they've won like 8 state titles in the
I was
last
gonna
like.
say, why does that school ring a bell? Do they got like a really good
Private-
football
it's
team?
It's the private Catholic school. Yeah, it's
They
the
got a
private
really good
Catholic
football team, or
school. The
basketball
nationally
team?
top 3 in the country, and basketball usually top 25 in the country, and
Yeah.
and they
I
basically
definitely know
are.
that school.
Well, it's a again, it's a very expensive private school.
I mean, they're no St. Rita, but I get it.
But
I get it.
playing in that program, there probably is some stuff. Joey was prone to getting rattled on occasion. I mean,
How many major leaguers have we seen that just don't cut it in New York?
that
He's
exactly what
He's
I'm
not
saying
the
is
first, and he won't be the last.
he doesn't. I don't think he thrives well with the vitriol. Which Yankees fans, they love you and they boo you like that. And I think he might misinterpret the boos. Because you almost got to, as a Yankees and Mets player, Chasen's even said this a few times because he's been in both franchises now. You almost have to be able to translate what
Seen that
kind. Yeah, that's true. You have to almost like know what kind of boo it was. Like one boo's like boo, which is like, how's your wife and kids? One was
Yeah.
like, ah, like you suck, bitch, and the other one's like, boo. It's like, I forgot to have coffee this morning. It's not me. It's not you. It's me. Like.
All I know
You-
how to do is boo.
And he doesn't know how to like translate that, and it's just maybe it's a bad fit. I bet you if they could sell him to somebody else, which they're gonna have to sell low if they're gonna really do it, but it might be better for all parties. Perhaps Wilson Contreras trade. Maybe they send him to the Cubs in return for Wilson Contreras. Maybe that's what the Cubs do in that part of that as part of that.
Wilson Contreras would be a massive overpay for Joey Gallo.
I mean, well, plus some prospects.
Would it be 1 for 1, Zach?
Joey
it would
Gallo is not worth Wilson Contreras in
No,
prospects.
he's
Oh,
not
Joey.
saying 1 for
Okay,
1.
all right. I was
Yeah.
like,
Joey
holy
Gallo and
fuck.
some Yankee prospect for
I was
Wilson.
all confused, dude. Someone
we'll throw
do
in
Sox
Ian
match only.
for some more of those prospects. Even you want to throw in that swole,
see,
incredible Hulk dude.
That's the
that
thing.
really
I
fast?
feel like the White Sox can get Joey Gallo for like pick 3 pitching prospects. Like the Yankees love pitching prospects. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Why not? Fuck it, I'm on board. Another name that keeps getting brought up that I'm all about, Mitch Haniger. But again, Mariners don't know what team they are, so I guess
I don't think they're selling. I think they're gonna go
Yeah.
for him.
There's a perfect name, but like it's tough doing trades within the division. But like if the Royals are, I think I saw his name today, Benintendi.
Whip-
If
give me
they're
Benintendi or Whit Merrifield all fucking day. I've wanted Whit
Yeah.
Merrifield on the south side for 50 years. I want Whit Merrifield. I don't know. He'd be perfect. Whit Merrifield solves so many problems. He's like a good Lurie Garcia. You can play outfield, you can play second base.
but again, like those are tough because like how often do you see a a
They're-
trade of consequence within the
Yeah.
division.
And the Royals are another. I think the Royals are definitely gearing up for a big rebuild. That hence the Carlos Santana trade. But like
The Royals are like this. For all
Royals
the
suck,
Cubs
dude.
fans
The
who say
Royals
like,
just-
"Oh,
the Royals
rebuilding
just
is
fucking suck.
fine." Look at the fucking Kansas City Royals after 2015. That's
Yeah,
not
it's-
fine.
it's just-
Perpetual rebuild. Perpetual rebuild.
it's annoying, dude.
By
But
the way, so there, I'm
I
my
would
drinking
love
game was
Benintendi.
Whit Merrifield was my drinking game like what 4 years ago. Aldo,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
wasn't so bad with the Cubs, so bad back then. I feel you on that.
I just feel like he's a great player.
He is.
And he checks a lot of boxes for the White Sox.
He,
I like
I mean,
this, though.
he had like
Let's
a
keep-
couple underperforming years with the Royals, but this year he's been great.
He's a
let's
good
keep
leader too. He's a
brainstorming.
good locker
I'm
room
just
guy.
trying to think of other guys like that. I don't know. We gotta go like I said, bargain. White Sox can't even like go to like Marshalls right now. We're going straight thrift store. Like and we're going to the thrift store on Green Tag Tuesday when it's fucking half off. Oh wow.
So
I mean I'm sorry.
when Rick Hahn goes, when Rick Hahn walks in to go find some free agents, you hear this. No, you don't. Never. Damn you, Macklemore.
Oh, what
It's
happened?
supposed to be
Kevin?
Macklemore. I know.
I'm so glad you didn't get play Macklemore on this show.
I mean, I know, but I mean, you know that when
Macklemore pisses
So
me off.
I think I saw your list of top rappers. Macklemore was number one. Is that true?
Oh yeah, big time. You know what sucks about that guy is he gets famous for a song about the thrift store, and now he has his own line of golf clothing. That's
What?
actually he has his own line of like golf apparel, and it's actually kind of dope. But I went and looked at it. Like a shirt's like $135. It's
Brand
like
name,
what,
baby, brand
Yeah,
name.
like where are you coming from? With dude, you yeah.
him and Little Dicky are the two, like those two dudes.
Mm.
Little Dicky's the best.
Let's not disrespect Lil Dicky. Like
Little
that.
Dickie's way better than Macklemore.
Oh no, I know. Did you see the episode there? Macklemore on the show where Macklemore shows up?
Yeah.
At his where he's playing the birth. Like it was insanely good.
If you're ever bored, look up Little Dickie's freestyle on Sway Show, and like from like
Mhm.
2018 or 19. It's just insane. It's one of the best freestyles. Anyways, yeah, Macklemore was a huge heroin guy.
What rapper wasn't at some point in their career? It's
yeah,
all part of the
fair.
process of being
It's fair.
successful.
It's fair, but fuck, man, the reason I just cheer was Luis Robert just had a really good at bat against Otani, and he ripped the ball down third baseline. Whoever plays third for the Angels right now, great diving catch on a hop behind the third base, but Luis Robert's fast as shit. So
I feel like the same Twitter account that said that the White Sox should have traded Andrew Vaughn and Kopech for the pitcher
you
and
need to get off that.
is the same one that said that Luis Robert was overrated and was basically the comparison was
Don't talk shit about Beefalo
Puig.
like that.
I think they called him Puig. I think it was the same account. I feel like it was. But
I'm looking at
yeah,
James Fox's timeline right now. I'm trying to look for it.
no, it's not him. No,
It's not him. It's not him.
No,
It's not him.
Someone else. Someone else that no,
I'm still
no,
looking at his because that's the only guy you send tweets about to our chat.
No, his was sending down. He wanted to send Vaughn down while Tony was trying to develop. So he just didn't understand the development part of baseball. That was his.
And I also think
he was a big fan of Vaughn. Big
in
fan of Vaughn.
regards to
didn't want
your
to trade.
little spiel there with him, I feel like you're both right, but you also both have holes in your argument.
By the way, remember
But,
when Yasiel Puig was like
You have holes in your face.
target number one for White Sox fans?
You actually a couple of them.
Yasiel Puig is a piece of shit. So, anyways,
Oh,
he
True.
won't even come back to the States. As soon as he steps foot on
Yeah, I think
U.S.
you'll,
soil, he gets hit with the sexual
Yeah.
assault charge. Bill Murray's golf clothes are actually somewhat affordable. Macklemore's are just ridiculous, dude.
you know whose golf clothes are like really, really well priced.
Abreu.
I
Wait,
thought Sheets
no.
actually did something.
Oh.
Abreu's golf clothes?
Abreu's golf clothes is just a tank top, and it comes with 18 gold chains.
I was gonna say Bronson Pinchot golf
Really
clothes
true.
are fantastic. The Balky brand golf clothes are fantastic.
No, the White Sox have runners on first and second. No outs. Sheets just hit a fucking hosel rocket, but it went right at fucking Mike Trout. And
Good sign though.
Luis
Couple guys
Robert
hit the ball.
very wisely realized, oh shit, there's a goat out there in center field. I'm not going to run on his arm because Mike threw it in and he would have definitely got Luis Robert out. But so here we go. First and second, one out. Heart of the one. You got your six hitter up, and my homie Palak
Oh man, dude, get the
And
ball. Keep the ball in the air at least. Please keep the ball in the air at least. No ground balls in this situation.
first pitch, 98-mile-an-hour fuck you fastball at his face, and he swung
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
Every time
Fine.
Otani
Fine.
pitches,
Stay up in the zone. Stay out of that soft away and down because you're gonna roll something over and this inning's over. So don't do that.
every time Otani pitches or like hits like a 5,000-foot home run with like the sweetest sound.
How much
in
money
baseball.
did Otani get from Asics? He rocks his shoes. He's got their glove on.
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
I gotta imagine that. That's a lot of fucking
I
money.
just think about how he said that
98 miles an hour down the middle, foul ball.
how Otani said that the Cubs were one of the finalists for him to sign, and then he went to the Angels. Go Cubs.
What's up with that other dude that
Stayed at the Taibo.
Suzuki? What happened to him, dude?
He's on rehab now, right?
Rehab. He broke his fingers.
Oh, okay.
He's on rehab, going to Iowa this week. He'll be
All
back.
right. He got 2 years, $8.5 million from no, that's not right. This is baseball contract.
Hey, I'm gonna do a quick test because I just never really wanted to even I didn't want to tease myself, but the MLB free game of the day today is the White Sox and Angels. Let's see how growing the game Major League
Damn.
Baseball.
Let's see how free it is.
Yeah.
Otani makes $20 million a year in endorsements.
Not bad.
Yep, there it is. So when I try to watch the free game of the week, I get the push notice that says, "We have determined that this game is unavailable in your area."
How are you blocked in Vegas from
That's so
Bro,
brutal.
Angels?
We are blacked out from Padres, Angels, Dodgers, Giants, Athletics, and Diamondbacks.
Well,
We're
last
lucky we
thing
don't
no
have
one watches.
We're
But-
lucky we don't have Seattle as a blackout too. We are no close. The closest of those is I think Anaheim at 208 miles. We are 208 miles from the closest. I know Iowa fans feel this pain with Cubs and Sox too. I think.
So
For like a lot of teams.
But that is
Polak,
like 6
Polak
teams you
just
can't
struck
watch
out, but have no fear because Larry Garcia's up.
Oh, I mean, he's gonna get a hit. You know, it's all right.
We heard you.
101 mile an hour at his knee. He didn't-
What do you think the live odds would be of Larry Garcia driving in a run here would be?
Live odds, I'd throw it at.
Like
Oh my
plus
goodness!
5.
Josh Naylor hit the walk-off hit for the Indians. They
Did
just
he?
showed him. He just grabbed a dude that's wearing a helmet and gave him a full-on Latimer headbutt, like no helmet to helmet.
Is Josh Naylor the number one? Is he like a new, like, just hated player now from
Yeah,
for
fuck
Sox
him.
fans?
He gets a big old fuck you from me. But 86 mile an hour slider, big old whiff. Keep swinging, kid. Maybe you'll catch a cold.
Here we go,
Um,
Evan. We have a Cubs
Friend of the show,
question.
Chris
Younger.
Bryant's 2 for 3 with 2 runs tonight. Yay! Sorry, just noticed that.
From
he's
Lily
back.
Yumper. Do the
Still no
Cubs trade
homer.
Kyle Hendricks? And what is a
Ooh.
realistic haul?
They
I gotta-
should. They owe it to
They-
Kyle Hendricks to put him on a contender.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I said that today. Actually, I tweeted that today. I agree.
It's tough though because
agree
Kyle
with
Hendricks has been
Yeah,
bad
that's-
this year.
He'd be one hell of a 4-5 starter on a contender though.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
he-
you right
like
now, you put him on a contender, everything sharpens up. He's playing with a debt again. This dude deserves better, but this dude is also stuck on a team that literally there's just
in terms
it's-
of
maybe.
trying
He's
to
not
think
an
of, but
ace
that's
either.
I'm only bringing up that he's been bad. Like in terms of like what can the Cubs get for him? Because obviously other teams are going to be like, well, he's been shitty. Why are we going to give you anything good? So that's
I
kind of tough. That's the tough part there.
I really don't care though.
Um,
I don't care about the return for him. He deserved they owe him to send him somewhere to contend. Even if you get a bag of sunflower seeds, don't
What if
be
he
a
doesn't
dick.
want to leave?
Well, if he doesn't want to leave, then he stays, of course. But if he wants to go to play on a contender instead of
How
just
much
you
do
know
you make? How
waiting
much?
out
What's he?
waiting out his time with a
I
team.
think he's like
gonna win.
at 14 and a half. He still has another year. Next year is his last year of his deal. And then I think he has a team option after that or a mutual option maybe.
And the Cubs don't look like they're going to contend in 2000 next year. So why not get somewhere else? Go.
Yeah, he's not a free agent to 2024.
Yeah.
And he'll be 35 at the time. Right now, he's making 14 mil this year. He makes 14 mil next year, and in 2024, it goes up to 16 mil.
Yeah.
I'd love to
So, like,
see that
that's
guy get a
the-
chance to get to San Diego. Like San Diego would be, I feel like would be great for him.
I mean, if I'm him, I'm just chilling unless they trade me because it's $14
Why would
million
one-
to be.
Well, he's going to get it anywhere.
That's true.
So, but I don't know. It depends if you want to compete or if you're just ready to, if you're just cool, just show up to the ballpark every day, win or lose. Who cares? And that's fine. I don't, good. He's earned that right too, I guess. Cubs are
Yeah, but-
in a, that's how the Cubs organization kind of feels right now. It's like, So maybe if
Yeah,
he's-
again, there's just like no. You as a Cubs fan, you have no. clue
First
what
and
the fuck
second,
they're
2 outs,
thinking.
full count to Larry Garcia. What's he do on this pitch?
Ooh, strike 3. No, ground out to second.
I was gonna go ground out to second.
I'll say pop out. I'll go pop out.
What about
Give him credit. It's worked the 7 pitch at bat already. This is the second
Hey,
time
guys,
he's
stop shitting on Lurie. Okay?
No, I'm definitely gonna forever. And check swing, foul ball. But that was the funniest when he hit that home run and people were like, "Oh, Larry Garcia, shut up, Sox Twitter with one swing of bat." I was like, I'm not gonna shut up because. And then he did the interview like 2 days ago. He talked to he was just doing a general media thing, and he's like, "Yeah, it's real frustrating because I know I suck right now." I was like, "Yeah, at least you're self-aware, dude. Like, fuck, man. I'm glad you know it too because
I'm
he's
glad
like,
he didn't blame the coaches like Albert Elmore Jr. Who
I wonder if my stream would have been faster than your stream tonight watching this live broadcast because I'm closer to Anaheim.
fouled another one. He's battling.
he's
Look at
bad.
him.
Okay.
That's
Hit
a
that
quality AB right there.
I will give the White Sox credit. We are in the top of the 4th right now, and Otani is at
9 pitch
73 pitches
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is great.
in the
for the
in the,
White Sox. That's a big
Yeah.
win for them because if they can get to this bullpen only down 2,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
14 of those are because of Leary Garcia.
yeah,
Don't be too good because he might be leading off tomorrow then.
yeah,
Eric-
probably will.
Every pitch he sees.
Is
Oh,
is
Look at
higher order,
Leary drew the walk. That a baby.
Oh, look at that, Zo.
Who's up? Who's gonna hit the granny? Who's gonna hit
Hold
the
on,
granny?
I'm still on delay. I just need to see this. And 78 just missed too. Ooh, my goodness.
So who's up now? Harrison?
No.
No, it's Harrison. It's okay. It's my dog. Let's go.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, he's one of the hottest players on the team right now this month.
So okay, I'm gonna ask you, what more is it gonna take for you to be back in on Harrison?
A grand slam here, and then him to get traded.
Come on, come on.
What about Ian Happ? Another year with another year of control. What would be the return? I think Ian Happ gets you the most out of this team.
Yeah, because Ian Happ's been
Well,
this
Contreras
his
is
best
a-
season.
And Contreras is a free agent after this year, right?
Yeah, that's the tough part with Contreras because he is a
Two.
free agent this year. It's a catcher DH. So
Yeah, he's got two.
value.
Haps ARB1, so he's ARB2 next year, I think.
I know he's
I
gonna be a
got-
free agent after next year. He's gonna be ARP3 next year.
I got 5
R3,
US
yeah.
dollars currency that Harrison strikes out here.
Oh,
And
come on,
just
Joe,
so
have
you
a little
know,
more
I'm
confidence.
on my TV right now. It's an 0-1 count.
I mean, the
Wait,
velocity.
Mitch and Kevin, don't. Or Kevin, you can't watch, but Mitch,
Mitch,
don't.
don't ruin
He's
it.
not. He's not sitting at triple digits anymore. These are 98 mile an hour fastballs, not
All right,
100.
I got an 0-2 count. Mitch is giving me the eye like you just lost $5, dude. But it's all
No,
right.
it's
No, I still got an 0-2 count too. So you're
All
good.
right,
I haven't seen
I
it.
thought you were giving me the little stinker face there, like oh, I told
No,
you.
I'm just
smokes. I don't know. I just
Ian
wanted to
Happ, I
practice.
mean, honestly, Ian Happ would be a perfect fit with the Yankees. So I don't know. Look for some of the good prospects for the Yankees.
Miguel Andujar. That
Ugh.
could be the name.
Ugh.
And
Labor
We got a ball. We're 1-2.
okay. So, what do you think this 1-2 count? Is he going to get another one in the dirt? Or are you going to go upstairs into the?
No, because he just blew his doors off with 2 fastballs, and then he tried to get it cute with a breaking ball, and that was ball 1.
Going to
So
jump
if I-
upstairs?
If I'm Otani, I'm throwing 98 right at his face because
Yeah.
he's just gonna swing. Yeah,
Let her high.
yeah.
Let her high.
I'm going right at his head right now.
Change his eye level. Oh, he went fastball outer half and fouled it off.
Dickhead, I'm still on
100.
delay here.
100.4 mile an hour fastball too.
Yep, 100 mile an hour. That would have been a strike if he didn't swing.
Hey, Kevin, are you just watching the game day?
Am I really that delayed? I'm behind game day.
Right?
Anyways, so
I'm literally watching this on YouTube TV.
Oh, me too.
I'm actually watching tomorrow night.
Slow.
I'm watching tomorrow night's game right now. So.
Dude, no. YouTube TV is like 30 minutes behind any game.
I didn't think anything could be worse
Not when
than the
it's blacked
Hulu Live,
out.
but
Yeah, you guys are way behind. I'm like watching on ESPN just the game day, and the at-bat is
and
over,
there's
I'm
strike
sorry.
3.
Yeah, we've been waiting on that one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We wanna
there's
spoil it.
strike 3. You all owe me $5.
By the
That
way, at
is
the
the
end
one
of-
thing I do hate
the end of the
about
movie-
everything being like online streaming now is that when you try to watch any sporting event, do not go on social media because you're going
Yeah.
to be behind. By a
Unless
minute.
I'm at this point, I'm cool with it being spoiled.
Shit, and turn off notifications from like the MLB app. I mean, during
that's
playoff,
literally
I was,
little
watching the game. Oh, it's
pull
horrible.
back the curtain a little bit. I'll be watching the game. I'll get a notification from MLB. They'll be like, Luis Robert home run. And before I even see it, I'm doing the tweet about it. And then I'll see it on the TV. But
Like, here it comes.
yeah, here it comes. But yeah, he just struck out. That's another runner's left in scoring position.
How many tonight? Although, again, Otani leaves the game at 8, or not leaves the game, but gets out of the 4th.
I don't see it. I don't know if they'll pull him back out for the 5th because
He doesn't usually do that, does he?
the way they've been handling him, I don't think. And
Take a look
I
at
mean,
this.
with the Otani rule though, he can stay in as the DH, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see
Yeah.
game logs. Pitching. All right. So usually, does this show how many pitches he threw? So that's tonight. Last time he threw 8. Oh, he did throw 8 innings against the Royals, but
Well, that's because he had like 15 strikeouts.
and he touched up
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to come out for the next.
You think so?
108 pitches in that game. So
I don't know.
he's coming off a 108 pitch outing. So I would
There's
assume
only-
that
There's only
He's gotta
one
come up
game
with-
that he hasn't thrown more than 80 pitches. That was against the Yankees when he only went 3 innings, 75 pitches, June 2nd.
and
He'll
93.
throw another one.
Yeah, he's going to go another one.
I wouldn't be shocked though if they don't. If he doesn't, it's just because his last outing he went pretty max effort at 108 pitches. But before that, it was 93.
That was also, he is getting an extra 2 days of rest, though. That was a week ago.
Yeah. I think it looks like his starts are all spread out 7
Yeah.
days. Goes
No,
to
he's
the 9th,
fine.
the 16th, the 22nd, the 29th.
But the fact remains though, like, you should still have a great chance to win this game because he's going to be out of there by the 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
You should be able to hit the bullpen. The Angels are garbage, pitching wise.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about since we're approaching hour 2 of the show. If you're Freddie Freeman, do you shoot your agent in the face?
Well, I mean, he already fired him, so
The wild thing, that dude was like Jeter's agent. Like that dude is like a well-respected agent in Major League Baseball. How do you just not tell the guy about the
wanted
final
that
offer?
extra scratch.
I mean, he must have owed something to someone in LA. I didn't really. Kopech's only had 55 pitches.
There you go.
It'd be nice
Yeah.
to get 6 out of Michael tonight.
I think I posted this though. That does kind of like it adds to the KB thing because if KB was never told about an offer from the Cubs, he'd have fired Scott Moore. Those players would fire you. Fire your agent if they fuck up, no matter how good their agent is.
But
He
I
has
mean-
Derek Jeter's agent, and
If
if
Freddie Freeman is the
that's
Braves,
horrible.
dude.
that's
Like,
horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Like, imagine if KB got an offer from the Cubs to stay, and he never even was told about it. Like, that's a fireable offense to someone that wants to stay somewhere. Freddie Freeman sounded like he wanted to stay in Atlanta, and his agent hid an offer from him, and he's not finding out till he found out this weekend.
Over the
Man,
weekend, yeah.
yeah. Someone obviously was like, "Watch this."
I can't. I mean, the dude is like Mr. Atlanta. Like, how do you do that to him? Like, it's so
Like
fucked
literally just won the World Series with
Yes.
the
Mhm.
team, and
that he spent his whole career with, and that is insane, man. Like, I can't believe that. I mean, they did okay. They filled his position pretty well with what's that, Olsen?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
kid from
Meadows.
Seattle
Yeah,
or Oakland.
yeah. I mean, they got in on that Oakland fire sale, which the White Sox apparently just turned their phone off for.
No, we got Josh Harrison out of it.
Oh yeah, fuck. I wish they turned their phone off for.
oh, come on, so
It's just
without Josh Harrison, you guys would be like 10 games under 500.
who knows who else they would have picked up instead, but oh my god, it's
All
like
right, come on,
since-
no, all right, come on, though. Seriously, he's been better. He's been doing what you wanted him to do: get hot, like own.
You know what I
that
think my
roster
problem
spot.
is?
He's been doing it.
I think my problem is I tie him with Lurie too much.
Mm.
I think I put those two together too much. Because Josh he's been, but again, I think same thing with Lurie is on a contending team, Josh Harrison is a filling guy, a getaway starter. You know what I mean? Like he's not an everyday starter.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah,
He is benefiting from that PNI bump though, because he's been defended on the show.
yeah. No, I mean he's had a great June. He had a great month.
No,
this
it's the
month.
opposite. We kept shitting on it. We were calling for him to get DFA'd
Yep.
after May, and then
Not
he's been stepping up.
Yep.
Not
No,
everybody.
almost.
Not everybody.
All right, actually, fellas, as we come up to the 2-hour mark here, let's put a pin in this. So,
Okay.
make sure you guys go if you're still watching this. Fucking bless you, but I don't. His name's not
Jackson
Clint
Frazier.
Frazier anymore.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson Frazier.
Jackson.
Yeah, his name's not Clint anymore. He's the artist formerly known as Clint Frazier. But make sure you check out Mitch's latest article about why they won't DFA Larry Garcia. And yeah, for all the fids, that's Mitch. I'm Zoe. Just, it's got to get better, right? So we'll end on that note.
They hit rock bottom against the Orioles, so it has
They
to go.
really did. I mean, there's only one way to go.
Calling a Sox win tonight, down 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Bet it.
Bet it. Live bet it.
I bet.
Bet it.
Promo code Pinwheels.
Promo code Pinwheels. All right, y'all. Be good to each other.